Are you ready for the weekend?
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Good morning, beloved. Wake up with gratitude in your heart. Being grateful is cleansing. It is freeing. It is a state of being that makes you feel full, that makes your life full. Gratitude is the way to abundance. Be grateful. Wake up with a grateful heart. Don't forget, your gratitude will attract abundance. The only way to abundance is through gratitude. Thank you for joining me this morning. This is Coach Raquel with your morning inspiration. Have the best day. Smile the most today. Laugh heartily today. Embrace gratitude today. And live in a state of gratitude. Wake up with a heart of gratitude. Hello, and good morning. It's a new day. I hope you can hear me clearly. But it's a wonderful day. I am DJ Kelly today, and I just want to say welcome to the show, welcome to the weekend show, welcome to Entertainment Now. And this morning, well, today we have a very, very special guest who will be joining us soon. But before he comes, let me just introduce you to him. Yes, so his name is, well, I'm going to wait until he gets here for him to help me pronounce his name. But we have a special guest that at least it looks like it is Chidiya or something like that. I don't want to butcher the name, so I'll just wait until he joins me for him to pronounce it for me. But we're going to be having him this morning as our special guest on Artist to Artist. But before he comes in, I want to go back to a story that we started talking about last week, but we didn't quite get to finish it because the story before went on longer than we expected. But today I just want to talk about this hot topic that has been viral across the media landscape, and that is the Viola Davis. She spoke about the experience she was having as a Black woman, an authentic Black woman, I would say, in the media space. And if you are an authentic Black woman, or if you are someone who pays attention to just what happens in the media, then I think you should have some idea of what she is feeling. The experience she was having was persons were saying she wasn't pretty enough based on the roles she was getting and based on her authentic melanin. And I just wanted to have a conversation about that because I think we're in a time and a season where authenticity is threatened. We're in a space and time where being your authentic self is a problem. Even speaking truth, truth these days, it's like it's like a bullet. Sometimes it feels. I've had that experience. I don't know if you've had that experience. Have you ever, even in trying to, have you ever had the experience where you're even merely just trying to tell someone the truth of an experience, and the defense that goes up, the way it's received, the way it's perceived, can be so odd to me anyway, and very weird. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't even understand how it is that we got here to a place where authenticity, truth, isn't as valued as, at the very least, I would hope it would have been. And so as Viola Davis, she published her memoir, and that was the Kickstarter for the conversation she was having, where she spoke about persons thinking that she wouldn't have gotten success because she didn't look the part. And as I was doing my research and going through the story and reading the story, I actually saw where she's been so Europeanized. I don't know if that's a word or that's my word I'm creating, but the whole long flowy hair and the everything. I love her in this picture that you're seeing right now, where you're seeing her authentic hair. I don't know, for me, sometimes the other day I took a picture of like about 3 celebrities that everybody calls beautiful. I took a picture because I wanted the images to be still. And I sat there and I was looking at the images and I'm thinking, is this what they consider to be beautiful? Because the eyelashes, I mean, the lashes now touch the eyebrows. And I'm like, I cannot see it as gorgeous and beautiful at all. So even, and I think Viola's story is so important because her story really helps us understand that you actually don't have to change who you are. You don't have to sacrifice your authenticity to win, because guess what happened? She actually won the Emmy. Right? Now, for me personally, I don't think the Emmy is the standard by which I decide whether or not something is successful. That's for me personally. But for her, in her craft, that's a big deal. And for those who were criticizing her, that's the standard they look up to as well. And you know, the most interesting thing about what she was talking about and the experience she was lamenting, it wasn't from other races. It was from her own race. It was her fellow community members that were judging her because she didn't, according to them, she didn't look the part. Right now, I think Viola Davis is gorgeous. I think she's beautiful. She exudes such confidence. And I think one of the things I love about Viola is that I don't see her all over the place. You know, she's a grown person. Like, she is grown. Now she's in this movie, this series, playing Michelle Obama. I don't necessarily like that, like her role in that and how she appears in that, the whole mouth movement and everything. I agree with what persons are saying, like, why is that being accentuated? Like, what is that about? But this is this is a woman who is so talented. You can see that she's been on her grind. You can see that she's made her own name on her own. So but it's just sad that we instead of valuing someone's grind, instead of honoring their grind, instead of honoring their motivation and how hard they go, you know what I mean? We spend the time to detract from that, to talk about what somebody looks like and whether they have the right hair. Now, by what standard are we comparing her now? Who made a particular type the ultimate standard? And then we are the same persons who talk about God made everyone and all of those things. We have to decide, because he created my understanding of God is God created the variety. And he said variety is the spice of life. And it is. Try cooking. And you'll understand that having that variety is so important. I mean, even the things I love to do, if I do them for too long, I get bored. So I think we have to get to a place of accepting each other's authenticity. Allow people to be. Just support them. That's our gig. Our gig is to support. That's our job. We're supposed to support. We're supposed to show up. We're supposed to help each other grow, advance, expand. Can we do that? So it is my hope in sharing this story that it will inspire the young Black girl, the one that other people claim to say you're not the type. You know, there's a guy that when he speaks about women, that I met, really amazing young guy. You know, I really amazing person. But every time he seems to talk about women, he has this word that he uses that just really irritates me. Pretty. Oh, that one is pretty. Or flowers are pretty. I mean, we are gorgeous, beautiful, quality beings that God created. Like, why are we being reduced to pretty? You know what I mean? What about talented? You're talented. You're smart. You're kind. You're loving. You have such a big heart. I love your heart. How about those? Can't we use those to describe people? I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. You know, I'm just saying. I just think we have to get to a place where we can go deeper. You know, I believe that we got the senses for survival, not for us to use to pick people apart. Yeah, I just think it was a beautiful story, and we never got a chance to talk about it, so I wanted to talk about it now. And my guest is here, and I'm very, very excited and delighted to speak with him. And before he comes on, I just want to get his information to make sure I share his information with you. He has an amazing music. He has a new song out, a new single, and we're going to be talking about it today. So anyway, let me bring him on. Hello. You are muted. Please unmute. Thank you.
Hey, good morning.
There you are. Good morning, and welcome to UMERADIO. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. We love supporting our community. I mean, others too, but especially our community. That's why we're here. Positive entertainment, you know, supporting each other, pushing each other forward. Yeah. I didn't want to say your name because I didn't want to mispronounce it. I tried, but I don't think I got it right. So please introduce yourself. Tell us your name first and tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, well, all right. So my name's Chidiya Ohiagu. There's an old movie called Chitty Bang Bang. I always use that couple of
I think I've heard that, yes.
Right. So Chidiya. Yeah.
Chidiya.
Chidiya. Yeah, and last name's
Okay.
Ohiagu.
Okay.
I'm originally from Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm a singer-songwriter and Christian artist. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your experience living in Nigeria. What is that like?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I grew up in definitely loving family, and we took care of each other, worked really hard. You learn the value of hard work. You learn the value of taking care of your family and respect and all the kind of stuff. Amazing food. Our food. I mean, if you're ever get a chance to
Mm,
try Nigerian food, our food is amazing. So definitely a lot of great things.
that's wonderful. How did you start out in music?
Well, it's interesting. My dad actually was always into music. He actually loved hymns and would sing and actually wrote hymns. And growing up from like when I was a little kid, I just started following him and wanted to be in the choir and singing with him. And I think I was in like elementary school choir, and like every choir I could get into, I was singing at some point. So that was kind of like how I progressed, and then singing in
Yes.
church. And I've always loved music in that way. So just kept on growing. And then I think about 14, I was in church one day and we finished the worship session, and I just had this song just pop in my head, and I was like, okay, so I wrote it down, and that was like the first one I ever wrote. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Gospel music. Why? Why gospel? Or do you do gospel and other things or just gospel?
Well, right now, all the stuff I've released so far is just gospel. I don't feel the Lord has led me to do anything different. However,
Mm-hmm.
I do think that you don't have to do just gospel if God has, because I think we need people, Christians, making music about other things.
Yes.
You want your kids listening to music that's produced by Christians versus just anybody, So, but why gospel? I think mainly because I feel like Christian music, gospel music has the power to really inspire and teach the gospel through music. Music is so powerful. We remember things that we sing more so than things
Yes.
than we just hear in terms of words. And so like there's songs from when I was like 2 years old, I still remember how they go and the words of the songs. So I think that's part of the reason to get that word into our hearts and into our minds. And also I'll say because when you're going through a hard time, you don't want a song that's about some random thing in your head. You need the word
Right.
of God. You need truth resonating with you. So why not put that to music and let that be something that fills your mind?
Oh, wow. That was beautifully said. Take me through your creative process. If I were to close my eyes and see pictures of you moving, describe that for me.
I mean, like even
The
writing,
creative process, writing, singing, the music, the studio, that whole experience.
oh wow, yeah, that's a lot that goes into that. I think the biggest part is thinking about, okay, well, there's the preparation on the front end of like, okay, you make sure you got your hot tea and all the things, and your, lozenges to make sure your throat's good and you've warmed up. And then on in the moment, the actual singing, depending on, the songs that are for vertical to God, there's songs that are for the
Yes.
people. And so it's kind of like if I'm singing towards God or preparing as a song towards God, definitely making sure my heart and my mind ahead of time is ready. I'm praying beforehand, like Lord, come and speak through this song, minister,
Hmm.
and then in the midst of it, just focused on Him and leading people to Him. I lead worship as well at church, so yeah, leading people to Him in that, and then I think as far as songwriting, it usually for me will start with a melody,
Yes.
and sometimes it just inspiration can hit anywhere. I can be at work, I can be watching a movie, it just pops. A tune will come in. It's like, okay, where's my voice recorder? I got to record this right now. I'm going to forget it if I don't. And so you just record and then kind of build from there and think of the words and such that go with it.
Wonderful. Wow, that's amazing. I'm going to be sharing your song so persons can hear what you sound like as we continue. But before I share it, I just want to share a little bit about you. So the song that you just recently released, your new release is Already Blessed.
Mhm.
And you stated on your thing, I was inspired to write this song because too often we can focus on waiting to be blessed rather than becoming more aware of the blessings we already have. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful for me because gratitude for me is my fuel. And I remember, I think it was last week, Jessie said, oh, I hope I can remember what she said. She said something about in the waiting. In the waiting. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I can't remember what she said, but she said something about the power of the in the waiting period. Is that the same thing you're alluding to? Like, because you are correct, a lot of persons sometimes, and I was there once, let me use myself as an example. I was at a place once where I was so, I want to get to that place, I want to get to that place, I want to get to that place, that my focus was the place I'm trying to get to. And nothing to do with where I was currently at. I remember the other day I was having a conversation with someone I was in partnership with, personal partnership, and he asked me, and we were both having this conversation. And I said, "Do you have a question?" I mean, I had like a zillion questions, and he said, "I only have one. Did you value me?" And my answer to the question was, I did not, because I didn't even value myself, because I didn't even exist. My only goal at the time was where I was trying to get to. Is that what your song is talking about? I'm going to be listening to it, but is that what you wanted to convey, or tell us the message that you want persons to really understand beyond these words?
Right. No, thank you for sharing that, because it's so easy, and that's the thing. That is the message, because it's so easy to be like, okay, I want to get, when I get this job, and this is what I'm focused on. When I get to this point, when I move to this place, when I meet this person, be it wife, husband, whatever, you know, when I have my kids or whatever, there's always something we're like running towards, and like, oh God, I'm not happy until I get this thing. When I get this, I'll be happy. It's like, stop. Because I was going through a period of that, like, okay, because I tend to be very much a doer and trying to get things done and achieve things. It's like, okay, right now, in this moment, I am grateful. Right, you know, because I get to have a relationship with God, and because of the blessings, all the things He's already done, I'm already blessed. I'm not going to be blessed.
I like that.
You know,
I'm already blessed.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing. That is wonderful, and you are correct. We are already blessed, and even in my story, when I lived from a space of, oh my gosh, I want to get there. Oh my gosh, I want to get there. I didn't live.
Right.
I actually wasn't living, and when I got to wherever I thought I was trying to get to, I was never satisfied. Because the truth is, I don't know that I really understood where I was trying to get to. I just had a picture in my mind, an idea, a concept in my mind. And I think that happens to us quite often. Oh, when I get that house, we don't have the experience of living in the home. So we're just hoping that we're going to like it. Like, I bought my home and I was hoping, and I had a whole gratitude wall because I did the gratitude challenge to buy my home, and that was one of the things too that taught me that I can achieve anything I want to achieve, right? But when I got the home and I went into the home, I didn't even like the home.
Oh.
And it had nothing to do with the home. It was just I wasn't present. And now I live in a space where I am present for every moment. And can I tell you something? I don't even, at times, sometimes I feel like I want to ask for something and I just stop. Every time I'm to ask for something, I stop. It's like, even this morning, I'm like, you know what, God, I cannot ask you for anything else. I just can't. I have so much abundance. There's so much that I have. I can't ask you for more. So I just have to say, this is an outcome I'd like to have. And if it's your will, let me walk into it, as opposed to asking him for stuff. What feedback? Before we do that, let me play the song first. And then afterwards, I'd like to hear what has been the feedback so far.
Okay.
Awesome. So let's play the song.
Yahweh, my best friend, you are my shepherd. Where I've been faithless, you've been faithful still. Whether it's raining or the sun is shining, you're the light of the world, light of my world. You're the light of the world, light
Beautiful
of
voice.
my world. I'm already blessed, blessed in the morning, blessed in the evening. In you I rest, 'cause I'm already blessed. All of my future is covered in favor. You are the answer. I'm already blessed. I'm already blessed. Don't need to fight for all your affection. Your love pursues me, and you choose me still. If ever I doubt it, that doesn't change it. It's the miracle you made for me. It's a miracle my heart can see. I'm already blessed, blessed in the morning, blessed in the evening. In you I rest, 'cause I'm already blessed. All of my future is covered in favor.
Yes.
You are the answer. I'm already blessed. Yeah.
I love this song.
I'm already blessed. No weapon formed against me will prosper. I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. Adopted, beloved, forgiven and honored. I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. No weapon formed against me will prosper. I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. Oh, adopted, beloved, forgiven and honored. I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. Oh, I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. I'm already blessed, blessed in the morning, blessed in the evening. In you I rest, 'cause I'm already blessed. All of my future is covered in favor. You are the answer. I'm already blessed. I'm already blessed. I'm already blessed. You can put me to the test, but I won't stress, 'cause I'm already blessed.
Wow. My song of the year 2022.
Oh, wow.
That is my song for 2022.
Come on.
I mean, the words are perfect.
Wow.
I'm telling you, this, you know what? Well, let me ask you. So, I think that you are very aware of the times. At least the song tells me that. The song makes me feel like you are very aware. This is divine, and God is really speaking. This is powerful. What was it? What inspired these words?
Oh gosh. Well, I think
I
in
love
the
the
beginning,
song.
well, hey man, I'm so glad. I thank God. The feedback has been amazing. It's just really a God thing. In the moment where I was thinking, I think I was driving my car and I was, there are different things going on in life. I think, I'm a single guy. I'm trying to find the special person and, trying to do all these other stuff. And so I'm just in life and I'm just like, there are times when you feel like, okay, I've reached this age. Have I achieved all the things I want to achieve and all this stuff? And then your mind starts to think of, oh, what have I not done and all this stuff. And then it's like, you know what? No, God has been good. He has blessed me in so many ways. The fact that I have a relationship with God is more than enough. I'm already blessed. And so that was the beginning process of it. Now, the song almost didn't get released because we had a very trying time last year, in August of last year. We'd already written the song and everything was in production and everything, and my father passed away. And so that was very challenging. And at that point, I was like, I'm not sure I want to write a song, release a song about being blessed.
Yes.
My God, I don't feel blessed
Wow.
from it. But then
Yes.
but then the Lord reminded me, and then my family too, just like, hey, even in the midst of this, God is working. And this song is even more powerful now, because when you declare something that you don't in the moment feel entirely true, that can become your truth. That's probably why this song is such a declaration of like, I'm already blessed, no weapon, all of my future is covered in favor. It's speaking me. It's like, okay, my mind is not entirely there. I'm speaking it,
Yes.
and God is going to take this stuff and move forward. And so that's like the motivation behind the song, to put us in this mindset of like, okay, I'm blessed. I remember what God has done. I remember who God is. I remember who I am in Him, and that's what I believe.
Wow, that's beautiful. I've lost my dad too. Since and I woke up very early this morning because I published one of my books this morning.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Hannah Banana, it's called. And as I was up working, there's this person that I had on my show once. Her name is Joan Blair. Condolence to you, Joan, on the passing of your dad. And when I saw that, I was actually thinking about my dad, and that he was perfect to me. My father. So I share that with you, my condolence. And I understand that. I understand because for me, it's one of the reasons I didn't like my home. Because I didn't get to tell him about it. And I got the keys. Did you say August you were having the issue?
Yeah, that's when he moved
Yeah.
on.
August 22, I got the keys to my home, and my dad passed on the same day.
Wow.
I never liked that place. And it goes right back to what you're saying, that we really have to be careful how we live in a future that we ourselves concoct in our own minds based on past information that we have. Because I was one of those persons. I wanted a future to escape my past. I didn't want a future because I wanted a future. I wanted a future because there was somewhere I wanted to escape. I felt trapped and I wanted to escape that. So I wanted something else. And I think a lot of times when we have ingratitude, it's because we're hoping that something different than what God intends exists. And so I understand. And your song reminds me of a thing that I wrote that says 21 things my trauma taught me. Because one of those things were to understand that wherever I am, don't assume that where I'm at now or what I'm going through now was not supposed to be.
Right. Wow.
Don't assume that this whatever it is not supposed to be. And oftentimes the things we struggle to get into cost us, and those things we seek to escape was the blessing. And sometimes we have the blessing and we sacrifice the blessing for what we think the blessing should look like. So with that said, do you have any final words? I definitely will be sharing your song and featuring, because I believe in the words. I support the words, and it's right along the path of where I'm at now. I live in gratitude and obedience. That's it for me now. Gratitude and obedience. I find them very rewarding. How has gratitude changed your life? If you could answer that, and then whatever else you want to share, where we can contact you, everything. And we have a wide audience: television, connected TV, digital. So just speak to everyone. This will be broadcast to 1.7 million households. So tell us what gratitude means to you and what you'd want those 1.7 households to hear.
Gratitude. Yeah, thank you. Gratitude is so important, because gratitude is the gateway to, the Bible says, enter his gates with thanksgiving. Right.
Yes.
So gratitude is the gateway to our relationship with God, or to keeping our relationship with God fresh and keeping it going. So we need to remain in a place of gratitude on a daily basis. That's what I encourage everyone. Stay grateful. Stay remembering what God has done in your life and what he's doing in your life. There's always something to be grateful for. And I just pray God's blessing on everybody watching. And thank you for listening to this song. Thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing the song. God bless you all.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here too. It was such a pleasure, an absolute pleasure having you. And we just want to wish you the best, the absolute best. And for those of you who are listening, if you take nothing from this, I can tell you from my own experience, from my own abundance, it wasn't until gratitude became a priority that I achieved peace and abundance. And I don't even know why God would love me this much, but I feel like I have been blessed with so much. But I wouldn't have seen it until I acknowledged it. And I think sometimes we lack, the reason gratitude is absent is because we do not value what's before us, right? Because before gratitude can be, we first have to see value in what is around us. And a lot of times we don't see value in people. We don't see value in the things we have. We don't see value in, I could go on and on, right? But we have to get to a place where we start seeing value in everything, because value is what multiplies into abundance. It's seeing value, and one of the things as a coach, one of the things I go through with my clients, I have this thing called your true brand value. And it's a formula that I developed that I share with my clients. And I always say, because if you don't calculate it, you may not be able to identify it. And so some of us are missing it, not because we want to miss it, but because we haven't quantified it. So I always say, for everyone who gives you an hour of their time, ask them what their hourly rate is, add it up. For everything that you purchase, your lotion, the soap, the water that you pay for, everything that you invest in yourself, add it all up. You'd be amazed at how wealthy you are when you're done adding it all up. But many times we do a budget for what we're going to spend, not a budget for what we currently have. So we really don't know the value. So it's very difficult for us to even start being thankful for it when we don't know what the value is. So my message to you this morning, and I want you to listen to the song. We're going to be playing it on UMERADIO, so please tune in to hear it. But if you get nothing from, you're already blessed. That dream that you think you want, it's already here. You just haven't seen it. It's already there. You already have it. It's already done. I promise you, from my own life, my own experiences, it's already done. Right? So be blessed today, and thank you so much for joining us. I wanna thank Chidiya, I hope I pronounced it properly, for joining us today. It was such a pleasure. And just thumbs up to Vision PR. You're doing a fantastic job, and we're so happy to be able to support your talent, your artists. And thank you for watching today. And now it's time for us to go to Sister Georgie with our children's story and game. And so that's where we're going now. Thank you so much for tuning into the Weekend Show. I'm DJ Kelly.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Weekends on UME Radio. The sun's up and so are we. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Children, gather around. This is Sister Georgie coming to you from Mississippi by way of Jamaica, West Indies. How y'all doing today? Oh my God, isn't God good all the time? Let me fix my hair. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Ooh. I'm feeling good in my spirit, y'all. How y'all doing today? Yes, this is the Georgie reading Bible stories to children.
Hey kids. Listen closely to the story. Then join the Excel Kids game and play totally free. Or ask your parents to register you as a member to play to win exciting rewards. For kids only. Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on Carib Vision.
Assalamu alaikum. Afghans are living in treacherous conditions.
Good morning, children. How y'all doing today? Oh my goodness, this is Sister Georgie here. One more time. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. The sun over here is shining. I am so glad to be alive. Are you glad to be alive today? I know you are. Oh my goodness, there's so much things we can do today. Yes. So I'm here to read another Bible story to all the lovely children here and around the world. So let's get started. So first we got to pray, because we got to thank God for waking us up this morning and for us to be here. Now, I love to say the Our Father prayer, and I want y'all to learn the Our Father prayer. And if you want to go to Mark 6:9-13, and you can learn it there. So we're going to pray the Our Father prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Oh Lord, Sister Georgie forgot the prayer. Oh Lord of mercy. Let me start again. Forgive Sister Georgie. Oh my goodness. Our Father, Georgie, heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For that is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Can you, oh my goodness, and Sister Georgie, I say the prayer all the time. I don't know how I end up forgetting the words, but anyway, I got it together. Oh, y'all don't mind my little kitty back there. That's Mr. Ray Ray. He like to be up in everything I'm doing. Okay, you remember him. Okay, Ray Ray, say hi to the people. He ain't paying me no mind right now, so don't worry about him. He gonna sit there for a while until he decides to leave. Okay, so let's see. Let me sing a song. Oh, another song. Jesus loved the little children, all the children of the world, red, yellow, black, and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loved the little children of the world. Jesus loved the little children, all the children of the world, red, yellow, black, and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loved the little children of the world. Know that Jesus loves you, little children. Now we're going to go into the Bible story. And our story today is reading about Jacob and Esau. So let's go into a little recap of the story before I read this one about Jacob and his brother Esau. And that's coming from Genesis 25:27. So remember, we're going to play the Excel game after I read the story. So I hope you read the scripture, because the Excel game come from reading the story, the entire chapter, the chapters. Okay, let's do a little story recall. We're in the book of Genesis. Yes, and remember we talked about the creation. God took 6 days to make the world and Adam and Eve, and on the seventh day he rested. God told Adam and Eve to not eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge, and guess what? They disobeyed him, and because they listened to the serpent, and they ate the fruit. Okay, when they ate the fruit, God found out, and God put them out of the garden. Yes, and he put a sword there to protect the garden, and they will never enter that garden again. And then after that, Adam and Eve, they had children, 2 boys, one named Cain. Cain was work of the ground, and he had another son named Abel, who was the younger one, who took care of the sheep. God loved Abel's sacrifice because he gave God his best, and didn't like Cain's sacrifice because he gave God the leftovers. That wasn't nice. Cain was very jealous of his brother, and he was also very angry of him, and with his rage, he killed his brother. Now that wasn't nice either. So God punished Cain, and after God punished Cain, Cain begged the Lord pardon, and God protected him after that, because you know when he did that, he became a fugitive. If anybody saw him, he could have killed him. But Cain said, you know what, God, my punishment is so terrible, so I don't have a chance. So okay, so God relented and God protected him. After that, Eve had another son named Seth, and Seth had a son named Enos. And it said when he had that son named Enosh, everybody began calling upon the Lord. And after a while, people started to wander away from God. After all that time, they started changing the way they did things. They started doing things, much as what you see here today. People doing their own thing. Nobody ain't caring about God. And this happened again in Noah time. Okay. And Noah was the only one out of all them people that was doing what God says. So this a message here, learning about Noah. Spotted everybody doing their own thing and doing what they want to do and changing their sex and doing whatever it is, just like the segment talked about earlier. People living into their own truths. That's okay. You can live your own truths all you want. But if you know God for yourself and you know what God has truly done for you, and you know God is wonderful, and you know that if you follow his word and follow his teaching and you have that communication with him and you got a relationship with him, it's okay what everybody is doing. All you got to do is pray for them and you continue to live your life, because you know at the end of the day, God gonna bring everything that he has into account. So Noah was the only one that was listening to God and doing what he says. So God realized he was different from everybody else. So he told Noah to build the ark, and Noah was obedient, and Noah built the ark because he told them he was so angry. Can you believe God get angry? God get angry with a lot of us because we ain't doing what he says. Like we said, everybody doing their own thing. So anyway, he told Noah to build his ark, and Noah did that. And he said, I'm going to destroy this earth with water because people ain't living right. And he told him to bring his family and bring the animals in 2 by 2. Okay, male and female. He brought them in because at the end of the day, they had to multiply again. So after they was in the boat for 40 days and 40 nights, okay, they were there after a while. The rain stopped and the bird went out a couple of times. And the third time he never came back because it was dry land. So they was waiting for them to step out of the ark. So they all left the ark, and God put a symbol of the rainbow that he would not destroy the earth again with water. After the flood, more people was there. Everybody taught the same language. Then decided to build a high tower to heaven. Now, God didn't tell them to do all of that now. They were trying to do that. And they all came with their own selfish desires again, still showing off their skill, trying to think they're better than everybody else. So when God said, so what he started doing, he started confuse their language. Okay. And then he called it the Tower of Babel. Okay. So everybody started talking all kind of stuff. Everybody's talking gibberish. Everybody talking something different from each other. They couldn't understand each other. So everybody scattered all over the place. So you got some people talking Creole, some people talking Chinese, some people talking all kind of strange languages. They talking Yiddish, okay? So then they travel different places. So everybody scattered everywhere. So you got all the different places, different talking, people talking different language everywhere, okay? So then God calls Abraham to leave his family and go where he tell him. Now, Abraham, he didn't have no GPS like we got today. When we don't know where we going, we put in our cell phone, we put the address in and we go where we got to go. Abraham got up, he had no clue where he was going. He just believed God and just did what he told him to do, okay? And then God, he trust God to lead him, but then he carried his nephew Lot, and that caused the problem, okay? And then they decided they got a little big for their britches, and then one went east and one went west, and Lot took the best part, and he didn't realize the part he took was a whole lot of chaos going on over there. That was Sodom and Gomorrah, all kind of confusion, and war was breaking out between the kings, okay? Anyway, after a while, Abram had to go save his nephew Lot from all the confusion because they took him captive, okay? After a while, then the king of Sodom, he wanted to give Abram a gift, and Abram said, no, I don't want none of that, what you all got there, because no, God already condemned your little town, so we ain't going there, okay? So you keep your little stuff to yourself. All right, thank you so much, but no, thank you. I'm not going to take that from you, okay? So here it is. And then God made a covenant, an agreement with Abraham. He changed his name to Abraham and his wife named Sarai to Sarah. They were blessed with abundance. Many nations would come from their seed. And sure it was. Abraham had some visitors who gave him a promise that they would have a son, by next year, but Sarah overheard, and she kind of laughed, saying, now I'm old to have a baby. Now, you know, ain't nothing too impossible with God. Okay, I don't know why she mother laughed, but she laughed anyway, because she was 99 years old and her husband was 100 years old. So she was like thinking, oh my God, how this gonna happen? Then they had the son. God kept his promise, and they had the son named Isaac. Okay, and that was the only son they had of the seed, because remember, we are the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so Isaac, the son, then he was going to sacrifice his son, because God was testing his faith. And then when he went to sacrifice his son, he was about to do it, and God said, stop. God sent an angel, tell him stop, because I see now you love me, and you sacrifice the last because you trust what I tell you. So what, at the same time, God provided an animal for the sacrifice. So you see how God knows exactly. So he was testing Abraham's faith. Okay. So when he did that, after a while, they had the children, Isaac. Isaac grew up. Then he had his wife. He found a wife, and her name was Rebecca. Went to the kindred to send the servant to the kindred to get a wife for his son, and that was Rebecca. And then that Rebecca, then they had, now we get to the story, and we got Jacob and Esau. They had the two children. Okay, now let's read on. It says here, Jacob and Esau, Genesis 25 and 27. Now Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to be his wife. And Isaac prayed to the Lord because she was barren. When he said she was barren, she could have had no kids. I mean, a lot of that happened to a lot of women. You know, a lot of things going on. Sometimes God allows things to happen for him to show you who he is and show you who is God. Because, you know, if you ask God for open up your womb, he certainly will. You do it with a good heart, it will certainly come to pass. Okay? So the Lord granted his prayer. When her days to give birth were completed, there were twins. The first came out red, all his body like a hairy cloak. So they called his name Esau. That's the first one. Afterward, his brother came out with his hand holding Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. That's significant now. So the younger one is holding the heel of the older one. Pay attention. You got to pay close attention. Okay. When the boys grew up, Esau was a skillful hunter, while Jacob was a quiet man. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So you got parents who got favorites. Okay, Isaac loved Esau because they had little things that they liked to do together. So he liked that. And Rebekah loved the younger one. So you pay attention what's going on. Once when Jacob was cooking stew, Esau came in from the field, and he was very tired. Esau said, "Let me eat some stew." Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright." So Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew. Now, birthright is something very powerful. It's very valuable. Okay, that's blessing, that's anointing. Okay, it's such a great thing to have your birthright, because there's so much in that package. There's so much greatness in that package. So Esau didn't understand what he gave up. Okay, he was just worried about his stomach at that time. Okay, when Isaac was old and he could not see, he said to Esau, "Go hunt some game for me. Prepare delicious food for me to eat, that my soul may rest, may bless you before I die." Rebekah was listening. Okay, that's the wife. She said to Jacob, "Bring me 2 young goats. I will prepare delicious food for your father. Then he may bless you before he dies." But Jacob said, "Esau is a hairy man and I'm a smooth man." His mother said, "Obey my voice." So Jacob brought the goats to his mother, and she prepared delicious food. Then Rebekah put Esau's clothes on Jacob. Pay attention. She put the goat skins on his hands and on his neck. She gave him the food and the bread. Jacob went into his father and said, I am Esau. I have done as you told me. Eat, that your soul may bless me. Isaac said, come near, that I may feel you. So Jacob went near to Isaac, who felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's. Pay attention. There's something going on here, something sinister going on here. Then Isaac said, come near and kiss me. Israel smelled his clothes and blessed him. As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, Esau came from his hunting. He prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. Isaac said, who are you? He answered, I am Esau. Then Isaac trembled violently and said, who was it then that I blessed? Your brother came deceitfully. He has taken away your blessing. Now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing. Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching, and I will kill my brother Jacob. Does it sound interesting what happened before? Remember with Cain and Abel? Okay. But Esau's words were told to Rebekah. So she said to Jacob, Esau plans to kill you. Flee to Laban. Stay with him until your brother's fury returns away and he forgets what you have done to him. Then I will send and bring you from there. The end. Wow. This is a powerful story. This has a lot of things. If you were listening carefully, if you heard deceit, you heard trickery, you heard favoritism, a lot of different words jump out at you. You heard something powerful, something valuable. Okay, so listen to the questions. The reflection says, yes, that's true. Isn't that the Bible's interpretation promoted favoritism? That's true. That's it. It does that. Yes, that's right. That's right. Why do they have equal access to the blessing inheritance? That's a true one. Entrepreneurs allowed. That's right. Is this a healthy environment for children? Just ask what kind of message is sending. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just asking how does it affect kids and influence parents? That's true. You are so right, entrepreneur. Okay. The Bible does show these things that go on with children, the favoritism, because I know it happened in my family as well. You know, the favoritism, they put one up against the other, which is not fair. But these are what things God allow in the scriptures. God allowed these things to happen to show things, to demonstrate things to us that he alone he's the one that makes the change and do the thing. He allowed things to happen in our lives and for us to understand who he is. Okay. And some of these things that happen in our lives, it's us to teach us a lesson as well. Okay. And I didn't like the fact that I was put, my other siblings put in the pedestal and I wasn't, and it's not fair. You are so right, entrepreneur. So right. And this is what's going on. And it happened with Cain and Abel as well. So it depends on the sacrifices, the different things that they do. The mother, she was encouraged trickery. Okay. And that wasn't fair either, not to any of the children, So this is a message here, which is not even a good message, but it's what's going on. But we're going to see how God brings this out, how God makes all these things work it's so interesting the way God does things, So here's the question. Esau would inherit a double portion of Isaac's position, his birthright. Okay, how did Esau's sale of his birthright show that he did not respect Isaac? Well, in Sister Georgie thinks that Esau didn't value his birthright. He didn't understand the depth of what the birthright was about. He didn't understand the blessing. He didn't understand what took place. Okay. And Seton Brown, I think the Bible is to tell the story of what has happened. This is the life book of principles by which to live. It is to create awareness so that we individually design our lives in alignment with how the God of our understanding wants you to go to go. My belief. That's all right. That's good, Satin Brownie. Thank you so much. Okay. And how did Esau sail? Like I said, Esau didn't understand the value of what he was going to be getting. He didn't understand the depth. I guess it wasn't truly explained to him what a birthright was. He didn't understand it's a rite of passage, something that, you know, that you need down the road. Yes, people do take illiterate sometimes entertainment now. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's for sure. Yes. So so he did, if he understood what was happening to him, if he understood what was going to take place with that birthright, I don't believe that Esau would have gave it up. Okay. And it's not that I don't think he didn't respect his father Isaac. He just didn't have a clear understanding. Sometimes us as children, that's what we got to explain things to children so children can understand what's going on. A lot of times children grow up with different type of beliefs, you know, and it was actually that way. But, you know, but they did it according to how they perceive it. They did it according to what they saw in front of them. Okay. That's how children, like they say, children are a product of their environment. Okay, so you got to be able to keep a balance. So I think sometimes many things were not communicated to children properly. Okay, and that's where certain things take place. And sometimes we as parents don't realize we start a rivalry between children indirectly, not realizing that is detrimental. Okay, so having favoritism is not a good thing, you know, but one was more connected to the father. I guess it did more things together. So what it shows is Isaac and Jacob didn't have that connection. But if you remember when the twins were born, remember Jacob was holding on to the heels of Esau. So that was significant because he was going to be the head and Esau was going to be the tail. So it was going to be flipped. So even if Esau was the oldest, Jacob was going to be the top. So that was significant. That's why I said pay attention to that. Okay, so then it says Rebecca helped Jacob receive a special blessing. Did Rebecca's plans work out? It did to a certain extent, but what she did was wrong. She played favoritism between her children, and you know, and it shows, and that was sin. It says, how does it show that our human choices are affected by sin? Yes, because you know, trickery, lies, deceit, that's all sin. Sin came into the world through Adam and Eve, disobeying God from that time. Sin can cause an internal conflict with God and us. It separates us from God, which brought about dissatisfaction and guilt. So what she did was totally wrong, okay? And that's all part of sin, okay? So Rebecca sinned against God by putting the children against each other and by lying and deceiving a husband, you know, that's wrong. Okay. And let's go to the third one. It said Jacob didn't deserve the inheritance of the blessing, but he received them anyway. In what ways is this like the gift of faith in Jesus that you have received? Well, the gift of Jesus for me is it's of great value. Is that the fact that he died for me? He saw I was in sin and he died for me. He loved me so much. Okay. So receiving him in my heart and it's more valuable. Okay. His love is everlasting for me, you know? So I have faith in him. I love him and I want to live for him. And in spite of everything that's going on, in spite of how, a lot of things happened to me. I was a child that nobody really paid me no mind, you know, but Jesus helped me to get where I am. So in spite of how you may go through changes in your life and you may feel that you are not listened to, nobody pays attention to you and nobody cares much about you, but remember, Jesus cares about you. Jesus loves you. So in spite of all what we're hearing here and we're seeing the different things that's going on, but in your life, remember, even what's going on in your home life, Jesus cares about you. And if you love him and you continue to ask him for help and you need help, he's there for you. Okay. So this is the end of the story. Hope you enjoyed the story today. about Jacob and Esau, and we're going to play the Bible game. And next week is Jacob's dream, and that's from Genesis 27 to 28. So I give you read that scripture next week, Genesis 27 and 28, Jacob's dream. That's what we talk about next. So now we're going to go into the Excel game. We're going to join joinmyquiz.com. Okay. And here joining us is Auntie Jody. Hey, Auntie Jody, how you doing?
Morning, good morning, good
Yo,
morning.
we're glad to see you. Enjoy that story. It was a little strange, that little story. It was a little strange.
Yeah, and sometimes, as you said before, the parents has to explain to the kids, you know.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't know the value of what we really have, and
That's
just
right.
away, you know.
That's right.
We don't know the value, and you know, these are brothers. Oh, you do this for me, I'll give you this. It wasn't nothing serious, I believe.
Yeah.
We're just like, okay, that's fine. But it wasn't serious, but he took it serious. So
yes,
yes. As well.
Yes. Thank you, Auntie Jody.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, so we're going to play the game now.
Yes.
The rules of the game is and how it works. Only registered players can win. Anybody can play the game. Okay. And you can only registered players can win rewards. There are no guarantees that your child will win the game. How it works is week 1, every player must be registered to participate. Only player with points will move to the semifinal. Week 2, only players with points will move on to the finals. Week 1 and week 2 points will be added together. Week 3 is finals. The person with the most, I don't see what else is here. Okay. And, I don't see the rest of it here, but the
final
will win. Okay. So, Sister Auntie Jo, do you want to talk about the game?
Okay. So, as Auntie said, week 1, every player must register. Okay, every player must register if you want to win. Only if you want to win, but anyone can play. All right, so get that clear. You can play even if you don't register. All right. So week 1, when you play, those scores will go onto the semifinal.
Yes.
All right. That will go over to the semifinal, and then week 2, with week 1 and week 2 scores, those will go on to the final. All right, guys. So the 2 points will gather together, and then is week 3 is the final, and the person with the highest score will win what? The reward. What is the reward?
Yes.
The reward, and those winners will be featured on this show. Okay, they will be featured on this show where they will receive their reward. All right, so it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and also the second place and the third place winner will also receive a prize. All right, so that's just it. It's very easy.
Yes, and people like Amazon, they like to shop at Amazon. Oh my goodness, we got gift cards, stores, and different things. So this, and we just in the sample, we're just playing the game for fun right now. The real game starts in May, because May is Kids Month. So hey, we're gonna have a great time. Okay, so everybody get your phones out. So remember, y'all got to read the scriptures for you to learn, for y'all to get the answers. Okay, so when I give you the scriptures, go there and read them. So when you, because everybody have a different question on their phone. Okay, so let's go ahead and joinmyquiz.com. You go to excelproject.com/register. All right, go there to register for this great Excel quiz game. And we're gonna go to joinmyquiz.com, and the code is 356550. Okay, let's start. Okay, 356550. Okay. All right. You ready to go? We're going to hit start. Okay.
Oh.
Hey, we're having fun here. Oh my goodness. That's why children gotta read the chapters, read the Bible. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I made a mistake on one of them. Oh, Jesus. So the George made a mistake on one of the questions.
Who got everything? No.
Made a mistake on one of the questions.
I didn't get no power up. You're gonna give me the answer for this one. I don't know. I'm just gonna put something on.
How you doing now, Jody? How you doing, Auntie Jody?
I'm going. I'm done crying.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Afghans are living in treacherous conditions, and I have never seen such awful conditions, despite the fact I've been with most of the oppressed people.
Okay. All right. It's the Georgie in the first place.
Yes, that wasn't bad at all. That wasn't bad.
No.
I like.
No.
Even though I got most of the questions wrong, it was really fun.
Yes, it was
really fun and educational.
I forgot. Yes, I forgot that. Yeah, when the question asks about Jacob working for Rachel, he actually works 14 years. I hit the wrong one. I hit 7 instead of 14. Yeah, so that's why I ended up getting that wrong. But you know, because I don't think I saw 14. All I saw was 7. I didn't look at all the answers.
You see, you know, I got more than this. That I'm like, oh, this is why I'm like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. Like,
yeah,
sometimes it's like a little kid. Okay, so
because I read the chapters. I read the chapters. So you read the chapters, you kind of understand. Because I realize this thing is not. Even though you read from the story itself, but it's still reading the chapters.
Right.
So you read the chapters every week. You know, and that's where you get all the information from. Because some of the stuff that I read in the story right now wasn't in the questions.
What's the story on next week?
Well, I did say it. I I'll say it again. I put it out there again. Okay, it's on. I gotta go back to the page and talk about this week in Jacob Esau. Next week in Jacob's dream. So
next week the Jacob's dream.
27 to 28. Okay, so Genesis 27 to 28. So you read Genesis, read the whole chapter. Okay, read those 2 chapters. They will talk about Jacob's dream. Is where it's going to come from, the topic. So it's focusing on the dream and what he had and the significance of the dream.
Right.
Okay, so that's where it's going to come from. Okay, so if you read those chapters, you know, and focus. Yes, entertainment now. It was certainly exciting, you know, and I tell you, I learned some things about, you know, the story again today, you know, and it's a powerful story, you know, and it's a lot for us to think about. Yeah, the Bible has a lot of strange things in it that we don't really understand, you know, and we understand, oh my God, this happened. God allowed this to happen. But I guess it's all part of life and how we're supposed to learn different things in life and learn how to function and see how it shows also, because you know there's a lot of dysfunction in families.
Yes, it is.
And the Bible shows a lot of dysfunction in families, a lot of that.
And it also shows also why parents make certain decisions. And
yes,
you may say, oh, the mother probably liked this one more, or the father, but you know there are reasons. You know, and I had to learn that. I had to learn it, and it's just as the love of God.
Yes.
You know, it's like God loves all of us, but for some person, He has to extend more grace to.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
It's the same love. It's the same love. Yes. So it's not like, oh, my mom loved my sister more than I, but some persons need extra attention, and we just have to know and realize and accept that. And not think at all.
Yes. No. Yes. Master classes. I gotta read. Master classes. I gotta read my Bible.
Come on.
And I think we make statements about the Bible. To be honest, some of us don't have a clue what is in the Bible. Just opinions and other people's interpretations. That's true too. You got a point. Right. That's true. You know, so we gotta understand. But the bottom line is, it's about all the stuff that we read. You know, and you know, we got what is it we take away from it. What is it God is trying to show us? And what is the whole overall thing is His love. You know, it's showing how wonderful He is and how He allows us. Again, it's that free will. That free will that we're talking about this morning. You know, the free will. People just allow you to do you. And at the end of the day, I am God. End of the day, He's saying, I am God. And it's really for yourself. This game is amazing. It teaches us about the stories in a fun way. Yes, it does. And I really think so. You know, and it's a good way to learn about who God is. And thexcelproject.com is we got to register. Let's register for this game, y'all, because it's fun. And I want to win prizes, okay? And I know you like to win prizes too, Auntie Jody.
Yeah.
As good as Sister Georgie is, I want to win some prize. But I know when the kids are playing, I don't think I'll be able to be a part of the game. I just sit and watch the kids. Yeah, because I end up going win all the games. So so I got to give the children a chance to win the game. So I want you children, please go to the excelproject.com and register. Okay. Because the Excel Project, I tell you, it's just a wonderful thing. And it offers so much. You know, and
also remember that the official game starts in May, and May is Child's Month. Don't forget that.
Yes,
Child's Month. May is Child's Month. So
yes, it's powerful. Yes, May, Child's Month. At least we got a month now where children can say, "This is my month." Right. You know, we got every month. For some, we got Women's Month. We got February Love Month. We got what you got? March, you got women, like I said, Women's Month, and you got Resurrection, we got April. So now with children. So finally there's something for children. Ain't that great, Auntie Jody?
Yeah, that is great. You know, I just looked at this question and it says, who did Rebecca send Jacob to stay with? And I didn't see the stay. I didn't see the stay. Like I read it, but it didn't really register stay. But I thought in my mind I said send. I don't know why instead I said my mind said send, but I saw send.
Yeah, because it says here she told because she wanted to make sure her son don't get hurt by his brother.
Right, so they send him to stay with the uncle, the grandfather, or the friend. And I was like,
his uncle.
I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I just saw about the question. Yes.
And it says, who are Jacob's wives? Jacob had two wives. Jacob's wives were Rachel and Leah. Remember, Leah was the oldest and Rachel was the youngest. And of course, they go to trickery again. See what's going on?
Yes.
Leah is the oldest and Rachel is the youngest. You see that there's a pattern. See the pattern?
Yeah, I see the pattern.
Okay, because he loved Rachel, okay, but she was younger, and the father Laban didn't want his youngest daughter to get married before his oldest daughter. So he let Jacob work for the 7 years, think he was working for Rachel, and he was actually working for Leah. So he had to work another 7 more years to get the woman he truly loved. So you see that favoritism again? So you see, we got to be so careful, you know. He had to marry both of them. He married Leah first because his father tricked her. Because, you know, in them times, cover up your face. You don't know who it is until you married that person, you realize who it is. So he married Leah first because that's what the father tricked him. And that was his uncle. So actually, you know, he married his cousins. Isn't that strange? The Bible, I be reading stuff in the Bible. I'm like, Lord, they married their cousins. So then you wonder to yourself, you know, all the stuff going on here and this time, you know, everything is just Bible repeating itself. You know what I mean? But then after Jesus came, we on the grace, everything changed. Okay. Yeah, I know he married his two cousins because Laban was his uncle. So I'm just saying those are first cousins. So I guess at that time, God allowed a lot of stuff to go on. And told her how long did Jacob work for the wife? He worked 14 years for his wife. Yeah, because he loved her. Remember, the father tricked. So he told me you got to wait 7 years. And he worked for 7 years.
7 years.
Worked hard. He worked hard for that woman he loved. And he realized he was tricked. So he worked another 7 years. I'm going to get my woman.
Yeah, is it 7 years? I didn't remember. It's just 7 years.
Yes, 14 years he worked.
So 7 plus 7 is 14. So
yes, he worked twice as hard. He didn't care how long it took. He could have took 20 years. He was gonna work for the woman he loved. You're not gonna let me lose my woman. Okay.
You see, Auntie Jody, right? What I'm like, I don't know. God.
How did Jacob trick Isaac? He took his, he dressed up. Yes. He stole his birthright. He tricked him. He know Esau loved food, so he gonna use that, and trick him and take his birthright. Because he realized, I think Jacob realized Esau didn't understand the value of the birthright.
He didn't. And as I said before, it's like you did something and you'd be like, oh, we're just brothers and sisters. You're not going to take this serious. I'm like, oh, I need the food. I just came in. I'm hungry.
Right.
I'm just going to eat this food and we just forget about this and move on.
Yes.
It didn't think that it would take this so serious. And sometimes we have to put ourselves in somebody's shoes and position and look at it on different angles to say, oh, this is it.
Yes, but you see, if Esau had thought about it for a second, he was thinking about that he was hungry.
Right.
About in the natural sense. But he didn't, like I said, if he understood the value, like we talked about earlier, when parents communicate with children and explain to them things, explain things to them. And parents, we got to be the examples for our children. We can't be playing one against the other. Because once you do that, you're setting a precedence for things to take place down the road. And if Rebecca was more caring about her younger son, she should explain to Esau why. And Isaac, you explain to Jacob why he thinks Esau was more to him. You know what I mean? There's supposed to be some open communication, but of course, a lot of times parents don't communicate things and children walk away with misunderstandings, and they grow up with a lot of thoughts in their processes that my mother don't love me, or my daddy don't love me, or I don't feel I'm worthy enough. So they grow up with, and that's also put in a child low self-esteem.
Right.
And that's where it's going to go.
I've experienced that as well.
Yes. Yeah. And that is not a healthy thing to have your child growing up feeling that they're not good enough.
And sometimes they don't talk about it and they keep all this information.
Yes.
And they keep all the information in.
Yes.
And some kids are very blunt, they will tell you what it is. Like they will tell you. They will. I have two nephews and a niece, and Nathan will let you know straight up. Someone is gonna be.
Is it the youngest one? Is it the youngest one?
Yeah, no. Nathan is the second.
Okay.
Nathan is the second, but Samuel is humble and Samuel will not. Samuel understand. You just tell him something and he say, "Okay, auntie, I understand." Nathan is asking questions. He wants like, why I cannot have it my way? Why I can't do it my way? I want it my way.
And it's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's why when children are like that, they're intuitive, and it's a way for parents to open up and not be so closed-minded to answer their questions, because it's important for them to ask questions. You want them to ask questions so they have understanding as they're growing, they can be able to relate and know how to deal with other people. And even when they go to school, they know how to deal with other children and deal with their classmates. But if you're not sharing things with them and so closed-minded about things, and that's where you have all this confusion everywhere. And I if I remember when I read the story, when it said that when Esau, he came out first, but Jacob held his heel. That was significant. Okay, because it was going
to fight from early. The fight.
Yes. While they were in the room, they were fighting. Yes. And one came out first. And if you follow, as I read the book of Genesis, you're going to see the significance, how the younger is always on top of the older.
That's me. I'm the second for my mom. And my sister, I used to rule her. I used to tell her what to do. I beat her up.
Jesus.
When I was smaller. But right now, that's my heart. My sister is my heart. Like, she is my heart.
Wow.
That is true. The second is the
Yes.
fighter. Want everything. It's me. Because you're the second.
Yes.
You're
But
the second. So the
I
first
think
one
too
always
is
gets a lot.
yes, but I think too is Auntie Jody. One of the things too is the oldest one don't have anybody to pattern from. The youngest one has all of it. Okay, so they learn from the oldest one. So that's why it's kind of, a little different when the younger one get more, out there than the oldest, and that's interesting, and like I said, the first one don't really get much because the parents, you see, you're the oldest to your parent, and they're not really teaching you things. They're not communicating with you.
Guys, you're hearing the noise in my background.
Huh?
There's a workman here. You hear the noise in the background?
I do.
Yeah. So the workers are
here. Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. So we want to wrap up the segment. It's so great to have Auntie Jody. Thank God for you, Auntie Jody. And thank God for all y'all. We played the game. We had some fun. I hope you learned some things, what we're saying. Okay. And know that with all the stuff was going on and all the stuff to be understand, Jesus is the ultimate, made the ultimate sacrifice for us, and we're under grace. And because we live according to what Jesus came to change the world and to be the antidote for sin. So I'm thankful that everybody joined in with Sister Jody, with Sister Auntie Jody today, and Sister Georgie. And we'll see you next week. And don't forget to read the story. And it's about Jacob's dream. And it's Genesis 27 to 28 when we play the Excel game. So I want to see you next time and know that I love you and Jesus loves you more. Okay? Have a great and wonderful day.
Did you enjoy that story?
Through God's eyes.
We hope you did.
Affirmation.
If you would like to be a part of the show, fill out our guest form at theexcelproject.com/kids. See you next week. Stay safe.
Empowering the community requires investment, support, collaboration, communication, and access. At least, that is how we see it. As a media advocate for the community, Jesseline Abel has positioned herself to become a solution. She is a published author of the book Laced in Love. She is currently completing certification to become an orthoptist. She is also a poet, and most importantly, she is passionate about helping others tell their story. We are happy to introduce you to Be the Light Publishing. Through this initiative and her show, The Light Within, Jesseline wants to collaborate with you to increase your access to investment opportunities using your story. Communication is a powerful tool but often misused. We hide from our stories, thereby missing out on the opportunity to leverage them to acquire opportunities and wealth. With our support, we believe that we can help you use your stories to create generational opportunities for wealth and ownership. Be the Light Publishing. Our website bethelightpub.com.
Good morning, everyone. It is me, Jessie, and welcome. Thank you for joining me on the show, The Light Within, as we aim to become the change, the solution, the advocate for empowerment in our community. We want to say thank you to all of our community leaders, supporters, and those who go above and beyond to make sure that the marginalized, the underdogs, and the less fortunate are not forgotten and neglected. Again, welcome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessie, and thank you so much for supporting UME Radio. And we are going to get right into it. So, first we start off with the lesson of the week. I kind of want to do a little bit different. Can you tell me what you learned? I want to hear from you guys. Type in the comment section down below. What are some things that you learned as the lesson for your week? In the meantime, while the comments are coming in, I will tell you some lessons that I've learned. And one is how do I want to phrase this? I would say the power of time. And in that, understanding how time is important to you, how you want certain things to flow with your own schedule. And also in life in general, not to be scared of what may happen, not to be scared in terms of putting yourself in such a stringent box that everything has to be according to your schedule, you know? And that's not how life works. You know, I had a best friend come over for a few days to see me, and she was getting into makeup and learning about makeup and that kind of thing. And she put so much time. She's very much type A personality, and she put so much time into every little thing. And I'm just like, why are you wasting your time at that? And especially on certain things like makeup, it's supposed to be creative and fun. That just be out of the box, be out of the box, be out of time, let go. Don't let life hold you back, you know? So that is some lessons that I learned today. Tell me in the comment section down below some lessons that you learned today. And tell me in the comments where you are tuning in from, where are you listening in from. I love to know where our viewers and listeners are listening to our show. So we're now going to open up with our community feature, community notice board. I really want to highlight Women and Men of Excellence outreach ministries. I want to highlight them and give a special shout out and congratulations because they recently this week made a great development in their business, and it just being more secure and more structured. And I just want to give a personal shout out to WAMO. If you don't know WAMO, everyone, WAMO is an amazing organization that is the founder is Apostle Dr. Faith Walters, and what she does. And we've featured her many times here on The Light Within, and we're going to hopefully maybe feature her next week or in the upcoming weeks, because she gives back to the community. She has her outreach, she has her books, she has her ministry, and she has a little friend named Sister Georgie. If you don't know Sister Georgie, go rewatch this, okay? She got a little friend named Sister Georgie that helps read Bible stories to children. And she also, like an author, is coming out, as you know, I'm an author, is coming out with a book called 12 Erotic Fantasies. We want you to be on alert because it is coming soon. This will be her third book and published by Be the Light Publishing. If you want more updates, if you want more info about Be the Light Publishing, go to bethelightpub.com. Stay tuned with that book. If you are a couple, a married couple, a couple that is looking to grow your intimacy with each other and have a biblical undertone underlying, and just being loose again, being out of the box, not being so stringent. I will let you know when that book comes out, but I want you all to stay tuned and go check out WAMO Ministries. That is WAMOE.org. Check out her website. Everything will be there. And speaking of books, BTL Publishing is also, did I see a comment come in? Oh no, okay. BTL Publishing has another release that just came out today. You guys can get it on Amazon. It is called Hannah Banana, and I have here on the screen, I will read for you guys that Hannah Banana is the second book in our series called Kelly's Virtues. The main theme of the book is, sorry about that, my print is small and my eyes are all over the place. But the main theme of the book is sibling love and acceptance. Hannah felt neglected after her brother was born, and so she took matters into her own hands. I'm not going to tell you what she did, but she took matters into her own hands to teach her brother a lesson. In the end, Hannah learned a valuable lesson herself, that love may not be easily seen, but it is easily felt. And when I read this book, everyone, I really connected to it. Yes, you can go to, it is for $12.99. You can go to mycoachministries.com and order it. And if you are a sibling, if you are a parent that is expecting your second child, if you are a parent that is expecting their third child, it is on walkingindivine.purpose.com and lulu.com. Okay, not yet on Amazon. It will be on Amazon soon, so stay tuned for that. But go to walkingindivine.purpose.com or lulu.com. But I really connected to the book because I am a older sibling, and also Be the Light Publishing. Okay. So yes, it is on lulu.com. That is lulu.com. It is walkingindivine.purpose.com, or you could go directly on bethelightpub.com. That will be on as well soon. But I was an older child. I am an older child. I am an older sibling. So I very much connected with Hannah because I understood how she felt. I understood. I was you guys know I was preemie. I was by myself for 7 to 8 years. And I did not understand, imagine growing up by yourself for 7, 8 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, a little baby comes and they take your attention. They take that spotlight away. You didn't know, you don't know what may happen. And just like we learned with Esau and Jacob's story, parents have to communicate with the child saying, hey, it's not that we don't love you. It's not that, we love you any more or less. It's we have a little baby, and the little baby needs a little bit more of our attention because our little baby, we have to help him grow. So we need to spend more time with him, and you grow, and then you could probably help with the baby. And yes, we are going through, if you're watching on screen, we're going through the chapters. And first off, I also want to say to the illustrator out there who did this book, it is amazing. It is amazing. Okay. I can only imagine as a child reading the book. The colors are attractive. The story is meaningful. Yes. Look at her face. Look at little Hannah's face. Do you see her and her curly hair? Oh, she is adorable. She is absolutely adorable. Look at that. And with that, I have a special feature. If we could bring on the author of the book, Hannah Banana, Miss Raquel Ariz. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? Thank you so much for coming on The Light Within.
Hey, Jessie, thank you for having me. Author and illustrator.
Author and illustrator. Yeah, I gave props to the illustrator too. So I love the book. I very much connected with it. As you heard that I was the only child, but I want to get your an older sibling only child for a while. But I want to get to the meat of the book. Why did you write this book?
Can I tell you I don't remember why?
Okay.
Well, I don't remember exactly why I wrote this story this way, but I know based on how I write, it would have been based on something that happened.
Right.
Everything I write is always based on something that happened, and I know there was a reason I wrote it this way, but I don't remember the specific story. However, I wanted to write a series of children's books based on one of my aliases is Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to write a storybook on some of the virtues that I hold dear, because I wanted to create, I really was writing because at the time I was thinking I was going to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to start writing the stories I know I would want my children to read. And the kind of principles from the perspectives I would want them to get it, so that I can help them, guide them in creating their world, so they're not just feeding into what the the world out there is
The world
saying,
is saying,
but that
right.
yes, but that I could help them learn themselves, find themselves, and understand what's true and what's important to them. And so I wanted it to be a children's book because this is also, when I wrote that book as well, it's something I wanted for myself growing up, given that I didn't really grow up with my mother. And the way my father was, he really taught me how to think for myself. And he really taught me the importance of understanding the world, God, things for myself, and not just, he didn't want me to be on autopilot in life. And so I also thanked him in this book because he kind of taught me, and he also taught me to write. He would always say to me, write your stories, because I used to talk my stories. Like I would just go on painting pictures, you know.
Would you
And
say
he
that your dad was the person that made you realize that you have
had a
a
voice.
gift of writing, or had a talent per se to write?
I think he helped me realize that I could create stories. I had a way of talking about. I had a great imagination. Let me put it that way. That's what he taught me. That I had a big imagination, and he honed it. He fostered it. He welcomed it. He didn't shut me up.
He didn't push it aside.
Right. He, like other persons, sometimes there were times when like other adults when I was young, and because I started telling stories to like the goalpost and the trees, because the way I grew up, I didn't have television or anyone around me. So books was it for me, and my own mind creating my own reality. So I've been creating my reality since I was 8 years old. I've been creating realities. And so he was the one person out of everybody else. I mean, there were other persons who were very nice and kind to me and encouraging, but my dad he made me feel accepted. And that my imagination, or imaginations, were also accepted. And then he told me, he's like, write it down, write everything, just write it. And I developed the love for telling stories. I love doing short stories. I don't like anything too long, because once I leave it, I don't want to come back.
Yeah, I get it. He fostered that, because I know a lot of parents, as you get older, you know, when kids have their imagination, or I don't know, with society and everything, that we tend to lose that parents sometimes don't hone it throughout life. They kind of think of it as, oh, well, I'm gonna have them be imaginative from birth till 4 or 5, and by 5 you better stop. You better grow up, quote unquote. You know, I know the ages are all over the place, but I want to know also, when would you say when did you write your first book? How old were you? And I'm just not talking a published book. Like, how old were you when you first, maybe went to dad and said, I did this?
Well, the first story I wrote, I actually didn't show it to anyone, and I lost it. It was called The Rebel Piglet. And I've decided that that's going to be the third book after this one. It's so interesting that you asked me that, because I haven't really spoken about it. But there was the first story I ever wrote, The Rebel Piglet. And the reason I wrote the story, it was based on my own life. I grew up in what other people would look at as a very unfortunate way, very unfortunate circumstances, or how other people would look at it, right? And even as a child, like it was okay. I grew up in Manchester in Jamaica, right? And it's at this cul-de-sac, and around me we had a place that sell like marls. I don't know if you know about place that sell marl. It's like a male-dominated company, right? And then next to that was an asphalt company, and the houses were far away, right? And then I was up in this little hilltop, and it wasn't really a fully made house. It was like a hut that my dad did. And so I didn't really have a lot of people. I mean, I remember when I was much younger, I remember my sisters were there, but after a while it was just me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have people to talk to. I had to create my own reality And I remember, what I can remember is I was about 8 years old when the darkness was getting to me, the alone, being alone was getting to me. I would hear sounds outside, like the trash moving, like like, you know, when someone's walking on it. I don't know if it was imaginary or if it was really happening.
Right.
And I remember there are times I would be like, Daddy, because he was out, right?
Right.
And I remember he said to me, don't say Daddy, because if somebody's outside based on the environment, then they would know I'm not here. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult for them to come in, because all they have to do is push the door. It's like a little board thing. It's a wooden door with a little thing that you just latch it. I mean, that's what it was, you know? And so I was left to my own devices. And that was when I started making up stories. I started singing to myself. I started, you know, so to conquer the fear at nights, like really, really late at night, I would just go outside and start singing or telling my story to the darkness, because it was my way to cope. And to be honest with you, I hadn't really, it's more recently I really sat down and really thought about my childhood. But for me, writing was escape. It saved me from suicide. It saved me from so much. So yeah, so that was the first one, the Rebel Piglet. And I really talked about my story. And the reason I call it the Rebel Piglet was because when the people in the community would see me, they would say, she's so dirty. Why is she so dirty? You need to bathe her. You need to, you know, and then they would say, but man, when she opens her mouth, she's so intelligent. Like, she's so bright.
Right.
And so in my mind from earlier, I was like, okay, so clearly my presentation will not be how I make it. Right?
Okay,
My presentation isn't going to be it. So it's my intellect or my smarts or my education or my training. That's what people are going to care about. That's a value I have that I bring then. So I was like, okay, I need to hone that then. That's where my focus is. And so the Rebel Piglet was where I was talking about that myself, because the pig is always in the mud, you know? And yeah, so it was, and the story was about the piglet that that planned to leave the mud, and in his dream to leave the mud, he was seeing himself traveling the world and all of that. It kind of formed the basis for how I rescued myself.
Yeah.
So that's what is coming next.
Yeah, we don't want to go too much into that. That'll be next time. When you said that, I kind of thought of Charlotte's Web a little bit. It reminded me a little bit of Charlotte's Web. Can you talk about how because you've explained a little bit about your writing process. Can you, for our listeners who want to become a writer or don't know really where to start, what are some suggestions that you have for them to dig deep? How should they go about it? Or should they be very rigorous? Or should they have an outline? What's your process? What's some suggestions that you have?
Okay. Your story is not just an experience that you're having or you've had. It's a divine it's a divine script, so to speak, or storyboard that God has created and designed as a launch pad for you, right? But many times we live in shame of our story, so we never tell them. My process is I use what I'm given. I've always been that way. Now, as I've grown older, I realized that I was living in gratitude. I told you about my 8-year-old self, right? When I was 8 years old, I was inside, I was lying down. It was on the spring, very cold, because, you know, my father wasn't able to, well, I don't know why it wasn't done, but he didn't really get like a proper bed or whatever. Yeah. God bless him, because he gave me all he had. So this is not a lamentation. Let me be clear. But I was cold on the spring, and I was, again, afraid of the dark outside. I'm wondering what's out there, you know?
Right.
So I got up and I went outside, and I was like, started singing. I was like, I'm not afraid. That's the first memory I've had of myself as a child. And I remember talking to myself, and I said, okay, they said Jesus Christ died for me. What can I use? What about that can I use? How is that going to save me right now? As a child, 8 years old, I'm talking to myself like, how is this going to save me? How do I use it? And I said, okay, it's a cross. So I drew the air cross like a T. I drew it in the air like a cross. And then I said, okay, on one side of it, what do I have? I have the birds, I have trees, I have silence, I have the darkness. On the other side, what can I do with what I have? And I remember the birds were entertainment.
Oh.
Right? I put on the other side entertainment. Some of it I've forgotten. I wish I had written down this part. I didn't really write it down, but I'll go back through because I have a lot of writings to go through. But I remember entertainment and there was something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was using my story. I was using my experience. So my process is to use what I have. I don't have to. I don't have to wonder what I'm going to write. And what I find, Jesse, is that once I start using what I have, once I begin with what I have, there's a divine interference that happens, and it just floods through, and it just takes on life. It's like I will start with something, and it just become this. Like I just get pictures in my mind. Like a film running through my mind, this scene and that scene and that scene and that scene. I'm telling you, if I was able to take a picture with if my eyes were cameras, I've seen some beautiful images in my mind that I don't even have the capacity to recreate.
Explain it. Yeah.
More recently, I've been thinking of. I'm sorry. More recently, I've been thinking that I want to, and I think I'm going to hire an artist. Just like retain one so that when I have these images, I can have them drawn because sometimes I get some beautiful ones.
Yeah.
That's my process. Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What are some things that your readers have said about your books?
So far, go ahead.
Oh, because your stories are, even your kids' stories, how you're describing it, it's so impactful and there's a deeper message behind it. So I'm just curious, even just listening to you now, what impact you had on others.
Well, I'm going to read one of the feedback that I've got, and this woman, I don't think she understands what she did when she did this, and I'm getting emotional. Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't want to be emotional. Apostle Dr. Faith Walters. She wrote this after reading the book. The story is quite unique and intriguing. It's spoken from the mind and innocence of a child. Also demonstrates misunderstanding between newborns and their siblings. A must read, Dr. Faith Walters. And I'm going to tell her why this is so important to me. It's my experience, and it could be that I'm not good at choosing relationships. I'm realizing that. I'm realizing over the past couple of months, even in this moment, that I think it's because of how I grew up, not having. So whatever I got, I was just so happy for that nobody was required to give me more than basic. So the reason I appreciate her, that's why I appreciate her thing, because I shared it with multiple people, and she was the only one who openly, gave me the feedback. It tells me that it was received. You understand what I'm saying? Over the years, I've had persons tell me, wow, I just love how you write. And I know I'm also good with writing like projects, or if someone says something, I'm very good at transcribing that in a way that in my mind, I feel like it's descriptive and it tells a story. And this is what I'm good at. I feel like I'm good at connecting people's experiences to story. That's it.
Okay.
I'm good. I think I know I've worked with you as a coach. And because I was part of helping you establishing Be the Light Publishing, and I remember that day when I worked with you, and you're like, "How did you get it to say it that way?"
Right.
That's what my experience was, and I was so I have that gift to help to you tell me your story, and I help you, You tell me your experience and I put it in story.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
So-
feel as someone, as an author and as a writer, and given your childhood, that I want to try to phrase it the right way, that you hone in on open validation or open words of what's a love language? Words of administrate and
what do they call that?
Admiration, words of admiration, because you felt that no one spoke those words to you growing up? Do you feel a connection there? No one openly.
I was always told I was good at things. I was always complimented on things. I was always, oh my gosh, she's so smart. Oh my gosh, on my work. I've always been complimented for my work.
The author herself.
Personally, well, as an author, I have had people commend me for my work. I've had persons like, would you please publish the book? Please publish it so I can quote it, so I can talk about it, because I've had my books tested and stuff. So I'm only now publishing them. But let me see if I understand you correctly. Are you saying that? Are you asking me if, as an author, it's important to me to hear people speak validation or commendation on my work? Is that what you're asking? Because the answer would be no.
But also not just the author side of you, but you as a person. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what's important to me. I don't necessarily think that receiving accolades is so much important to me. I love communication. I don't like to assume. I don't like to assume something. I love when people communicate with me, and I love to have to know how to interact with people, and I love when people communicate. I love communication, just communication as a whole. I just love,
right.
I love communication. However, this is where for me communication become important, right? The relationships I form. So for me, it's not so much if people say things, but I think for all of us, you want to know that if you do something, if you give something, if you share something, you want to know that there's some kind of reaction, response, something. So for me, it's one of the worst things someone can do to me is I speak to you and you give me nothing, silence, no response. I don't know if it's a rejection I do know it's the rejection I felt from my mother, you know, because often, like, I ask a lot of questions. My father could handle it, but my mother couldn't. So I remember times I'd ask her a question and slap her across my face, like, boom, you know? I think it's respectful if someone asks something to respond to them. So as it relates to my book or anything I do called work, I want to personally make sure, you see, it's about environment for me. What I've learned is I have to cultivate the kind of environment that propels me into growth. And that's why I appreciate Apostle Faith so much, because I feel like around her, I grow because I get the feedback. I get the comments. She's engaged, but she's not the only person I'm around. And I'm a giver, right? I'm a supporter. And to be honest with you, how I felt, but the accountability is mine. I'm not mad at anyone, because you see, what I would never want is for someone to force something for me. I love all the people I know right now. I love them. I love them exactly the way they are. I love the honesty. I love that if they don't care, they just don't care. The responsibility is on me to change my environment.
Okay.
And when I write that story, the Rebel Piglet, it's going to be a part of that, because kids need to understand this. You cannot get someone to love you, but you can identify if they're not loving you. And this book, the message of this book is where Hannah felt like she started feeling invisible.
Visible. Yeah.
She started feeling invisible. She started thinking, oh my gosh, I'm at school and you're talking about the baby too. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
You know, like why are we talking about the baby here?
100% of the tension. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I
Why
felt
are we
that.
talking about that baby? I am here.
I'm the
And
baby. I'm
exactly.
here.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so she set out to take her own actions to get persons to understand. And in the end, she realized that you were seen, we
Yeah.
saw you, but there's
Yeah.
an importance. I think it's important to all of us. Those I cannot find the word what to say. There's a word that I want to use. For me, this is a lesson for me, or what I've learned is, if someone is important to you, don't you think it's important to let them know? Why wouldn't it be important to let them know? If someone is important to you and they do something, isn't it important for you to participate, to support? And I think maybe, well, I know I think I'm supportive on steroid. And let me tell you why. Because most of the times in my life, especially the worst times of my life, I was alone. I wasn't alone because there was no one around me. I've always had people around me telling me that I'm not alone. And there were times too I used to lie to myself. I used to say to myself, well, they're saying I'm not alone, so I'm not alone. But I was dead alone. There was nobody lifting a finger. There was nobody doing anything. There was nobody pouring into me. I don't want to be around anyone who's not pouring into me. And so for me, I'm constantly changing my environment because I have to. That's the only way I'm going to grow. And I recommend that for any author out there. Listen to me. If I may say this, you have a story, don't wait on anyone to tell it. Don't wait on anyone to tell it. And if you need help, I'm here. And if you're really serious, I will be, if you give 100%, I'll give you 200%. But I'll only commit for as long as you do. Yes? But I want the little island girl out there who grew up in a broken home, because that's a dedication. My dedication is to my goddaughter and also to island girls who are from broken homes. Listen to me. Your home may be broken, but you're not. People may show up and talk that they're there and there's no action behind it, but still do what you need to do. I didn't wait on anyone to publish this book. It was on my heart. It needed to be done. I prioritized it and I made it happen. Would I have liked for other persons to have been more a part of it? Of course. Who doesn't want support? Everyone wants support. Everyone wants to know that. And it even hurts sometimes to know that people don't prioritize you. But guess what? It's the name of the game. It's not intentional. They're not trying to hurt you. Yeah? But sometimes God he designs it, he storyboards it this way because this is for you. It's not for anybody else. And your work is going to produce results. And when those results come, because this is something I had to learn more recently, I had to learn to honor me, honor my grind, honor what I produce, and honor the rewards that God gave me, because I never felt worthy of it. And so every time he rewarded me, Jesse, I wanted to give it to somebody. Every time I get something, it's like, who I need to give this to? Who I need to? Because I wasn't giving to self. You ought to give to yourself first. So go publish your book. Write your story. And listen, don't even worry about if it's the right cover, if it is edited properly, write your story. I've seen projects make a lot of money. And when I look at it, I'm like, this is so mediocre to me. But you see, when your story is powerful, you know why news is so successful? I'm a television major. You know why news is so successful? The power of the stories being reported.
Yeah.
They don't even if someone's going to report on a storm, nobody stops and say, why is the cameraman leaning? No, because the power of the story. Don't worry about anything. Just focus on your story and use the power of your story. Congratulations, Raquel, on your new book. Thank you, Dr. Faith Walters. God bless you. It is my prayer that God bless you tenfold for every word you wrote. It is my prayer, and I'm fasting about it, because I've actually started fasting about people who really show up in real time, in action, to support me. And I also pray he bless those people who I am not perceiving to be supporting me, but they're doing what they need to be doing. How has the particular story impacted your life? That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hard question to answer because I don't want to hurt anyone, and what I'm this interview, this video is going to be up and available online for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But let me see if I can put it this way. I wish I knew how to establish a relationship that looks like family, especially with those I'm related to, if that makes sense.
Looks like or feels like?
Feels like, thank you. Not just feels like, but feels like, and it looked like to me, not to anyone else. But when I see it, I see the love in their eyes. I see the love in the smile. I see them actively. That's it.
It's okay.
I'm gonna stop there.
It's okay.
But let me just be clear. My sisters and brothers are wonderful and beautiful. But just let me be clear, when you're from a broken thing, it's broken. So this is not, I don't like talking about it because I don't even want people to even start thinking poorly about my parents, because they gave all they had.
Right.
They gave all they had and the best of what they had. I just long for family, the real thing.
Yeah.
And that may be something that I live and die with. And it's okay. It's me and God now. So
do you think it's kind of a 2-in-1, and we might either have to do a part 2 because we went a little bit over, but do you think you can find family in persons that are not biologically related? Have you found a family?
No.
Are you still looking?
I think you can find family with people you're not related to in marriage. And this is just my personal experience. I've had a lot of people call me family.
Mm-hmm.
And so even using the word family, I don't know if it's adequate.
Right.
What I would like is I would like to have what Hannah has. That when she veered off on her own, there were eyes following her.
Yeah.
Still
looking.
Yes.
So I saw you in the bushes. I saw you.
Yes.
I don't want to give out details. I saw
you. Yes. I would like, and I think that's what it is really. I write about, I use my experience to instigate a story of my dreams.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's inspired by my experience, but it's not my experience that I'm telling.
Right.
It's the dream that I'm sharing. It's the aspiration. It's the this beautiful thing out here, if I could just capture it. But I know that I have the gift of storytelling, story creating, because again, I'm a TV major. I love to create stories and things like that. That's why I talk too much sometimes. But did I answer your question? I hope I did.
You did.
Okay.
And with that being said, as a creator and author and inspiration to the community, I want to say thank you so much for coming on The Light Within. Everyone, if you are tuning in, please pick up the book Hannah Banana, available on lulu.com. That is LULU.com. Also on walkingindivinepurpose.com. And will soon also be on bethelightpub.com and Amazon. Again, pick up the book Hannah Banana. And everyone, I want to say thank you so much again for tuning in on The Light Within. Remember to be an inspiration to your community. It could be big or small. We want to celebrate their work. We want to celebrate anyone who is inspiring and supporting their community, and we want to support them. So we love to be a part of your vision and their vision. So please feel free to email us at info@umeradio.com. Remember to be the light within your community. Stay connected and follow us on all social media platforms at UME Radio. Give a like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. And again, be the light. Thanks for watching.
I am purpose driven. It's not. I am purpose driven. It's not personal. It's purpose. When you see me, there's deeper than what meets the eyes. There is a soul, a spirit, a divine purpose. I am being. Join me Thursdays at 10 a.m. Finding Happy on UME Radio. Thursdays at 10 a.m.
I see me through God's eyes. Affirmation. I am a masterpiece. I am whole. I am capable. I am smart. I am purpose-driven. I am loving. I am wealthy. I am kind. I am honest. I am chosen by God for an appointed time and purpose. I am a child of the universe. I have the mind of God. I am worthy. I am valued. I am protected. I am me, not greater or lesser than any. I am called to serve. I am divine. I am someone who matters. I am a force, a positive force. I am God-made and God-designed.
I see me through God's eyes. Affirmation. I am a masterpiece. I am whole. I am capable. I am smart. I am purpose-driven. I am loving. I am wealthy. I am kind. I am honest. I am chosen by God for an appointed time and purpose. I am a child of the universe. I have the mind of God. I am worthy. I am valued. I am protected. I am me, not greater or lesser than any. I am called to serve. I am divine. I am someone who matters. I am a force, a positive force. I am God-made and God-designed.
Hello, 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 and happy today to you. I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. My name is Coach Raquel, of course, and I'm trying to get to coming at 10 a.m., but sometimes that doesn't happen. So here I am in the middle of the day, talking on Finding Happy. Finding Happy is a podcast that I believe God is using to help me find my own happy, as well as sharing that experience with others so they can also benefit from the process. So that's what Finding Happy is. It really is a channel through which I learn my lessons. I connect with like minds, and I share the stories of my own growth, as well as engage others to learn about their stories and their growth. And so today, I'm going to be talking about the topic, honor your grind. Honor your grind, and by by grind I mean your work. That's what I mean in this instant, in this particular setting. Honoring your work, honoring your grind, honoring your purpose, honoring that which you create. Not what you create, but the effort you put in creating, honoring that. So it's really the effort we're talking about, the showing up and doing. So often we value the outcomes of things. We value what we're able to produce. We value and honor the solution. But oftentimes we don't pay so much attention to the process of getting there. The work that you put in, the effort, the commitment. The bleeding, the spending, the investing. So that's what I'm talking about. Honoring your grind, honoring your efforts, honoring your commitments, and honoring your process, the process of work, the process of investing, and the process of energy that you're expending for something to come, to be built, to be created, right? So and the reason I'm talking about this today, it's because this morning I got up. I wanted to do the podcast at 10 o'clock as I'm supposed to, but I somehow couldn't find my voice, and sometimes that happens to me too, and it's okay, right? It's okay. I'm not late. The 10 o'clock is just to make sure that I know I'm supposed to do something. So as long as I do it eventually, I'm going to honor that. But I wanted to do this because the God of my understanding has just been amazing to me, and whenever I get confused, or I feel lost, or I feel like I'm in that restorative process, I've learned to be quiet and to be silent and to be still, so I can listen and I can hear and I can understand what the process is about, and what the process is trying to teach me, and what the process is wanting of me. And when I woke up this morning, I felt what I usually would get up and think, like back in the day, I'd be thinking, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having a bad day, or oh my gosh, I'm not feeling right, or why am I feeling this way? There was a time when I used to be questioning myself when this happened, but now I'm at a place where whenever it happens, I honor it. So when I was feeling that feeling, I was like, okay, listen, just stop, and so I went back to bed. I take up the blankets like one would do at night, and it's not the nighttime right now. What I would normally do at night is what I went in and I decided, okay, I'm going to cover all of my body. I'm just going to go back to sleep. I'm going to let this process ride. Okay. And then I did that for a while, but then there's like something tugging on me to get up. I didn't really want to, but I did. And God just gave me this. And when he gave it to me, he just said, I want you to post that online on Facebook. And I didn't want to. I kind of wanted to put it on my website or talk about it first. And he's like, no, that's not what I want you to do. I want you to post it. And then after I posted it, he was like, no, I want you to talk about it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to share first what the post was, and then I'm going to talk about my experience as it relates to this, and how I think sometimes we dishonor ourselves without even knowing, or without anyone else's permission or request, So here goes. For a long time, I thought, I am doing this and it works. Imagine if we did it together, how great it could be. But soon I would find out that the only thing that changed was someone else was waiting to reap from my harvest, but I remained the only one planting, grinding. I have struggled with this. So if I am paying attention, everyone is living for themselves. So do I have to live for myself? This is not what God tells me to do. So this is what I have learned. Whatever God allows me to create, I make it available to others for them to also use it to generate for themselves, just as I am using it to generate for myself. But what I harvest from it is mine, and what you harvest from it is yours. I am so tremendously grateful to God. He keeps saving me from myself, my innocence, my naivety, and my folly. This is it, right? God will never let you down. So never feel guilty when God blesses you. He is blessing all of us. Let me say that again. God is blessing every single person you meet. I don't care what state you perceive them to be in. God is blessing them. And everyone around you is being blessed by God. As in, that is, everyone around you is being blessed by God. No matter how it may look or how they may choose to see it, gratitude, value, and doing your work is an individual responsibility. Yes, one can put 1,000 to flight and 10,000. But that is only when the two are actually showing up and doing their individual portion. 1 + 1 = 2. But it is only effort plus effort that multiplies the outcome. I may be late to this, I wrote, but I am sharing it because God told me to. If you, like me, have been doing it wrong, I hope this helps. Humbled and tremendously grateful. That's what I'm talking about today, because I don't know about you, but for me, God has blessed me with the desire and the passion to support others. And based on the kind of childhood I had, I have a yearning, a longing, a desire to help people achieve, or to help people get over, or to help people not having to face certain difficulties if they don't have to, if I can help it. Right? However, I can only support someone who asks or welcomes that support, who values that support, right? But because of that nature in me, that desire in me, oftentimes I've gotten it wrong. Or it could just be that I'm becoming, I'm going through the process of finding and becoming. And in that process, I learn at different stages. I sometimes try and fail and try and fail and try and win. And you know what I mean? And the same for you. What I'm learning now is I am not here to generate for you. You are. And even in my business, I had this idea and this concept. God gave it to me, where He showed me where the whole put in a tenth, one can chase 1,000. And if you multiply that 1 to 2, you could probably get 2,000. And if you multiply it by 3, you can get 3,000. But the truth is, it's not just the adding 1 and 1 together that increases an outcome. It's the effort that's put together that increases an outcome. And so for me, and I hope that, my truth may hurt people, may hurt people's feelings, that is. But it's my truth. And the most I can do is present it as thoughtfully as possible. But I have to speak on the lessons I'm learning, because I hope that it helps other people see themselves and realize that we stand in our own way and nobody really stands in your way. In 2016, my business was stolen from me. And I really thought that was all that happened. But then this week, today, I'm learning something more. And I keep learning. I'm telling you, like, they stole it from me in that that's what happened. But the truth of it and how I have chosen to see it is God removed me from a situation that was not healthy for me. The reason I choose to see it from a positive perspective and not negative is not because it wasn't a negative thing. I have to speak the truth for what it is. But what I take from it is something different. And the reason I take the positive from it is this: the lesson that it has become for me. It has formed the foundation of wisdom for me as an entrepreneur, that I cannot even be mad that that bad thing happened to me, or that seemingly bad thing happened to me, if you understand what I mean. I can't be mad about it. I cannot be mad about it because God used that thing, that harm that someone meant for me. God used that thing to form a foundation beneath my purpose that would cause me to learn and to develop and to gain understanding and insight. So I can't be mad at it, right? But what God taught me today about that incident is like, God said to me, it's like the person didn't just take away your business. It's not the business. All these years, I didn't want you to focus on the business, right? Another lesson I wanted you to focus on is that person was after your harvest. Oh my God. They were after your harvest. It's not just the business they wanted. They didn't want to do the work for you. What they wanted was for you to do the work, get the produce, and when you have produced, then they want their share, though they did not do the work that you did. And God showed me today that, my darling, you're doing it again. I wish I could express how much God loves us. He loves me so much, it tears me up. It just tears me up. Like, why would he love me this much? I don't understand. Like, why would he? So the message he said to talk about was honor your grind. See, people are after your outcomes, your produce. And so a lot of times in business, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, certified entrepreneur, and I have been sent to serve entrepreneurs, owners. One of the mistakes we make, God bless you too. God bless you too. Thank you. God bless you too. One of the mistakes we make is in helping and supporting others sometimes is we make them robbers of our blessings. What do I mean by that? We sometimes give people access to our produce that they didn't work for. We make them robbers of our blessings. God sent you out there and he said, go and create this thing. I need you to do this particular thing. And you say, okay, great. And he may say to you, bring that one with you. And you can bring that one with you. And I'm going to send this one to support you. And great, wonderful. You go and you do the work, right? But he did not tell you that whatever reward you get was for anybody else. That's why he sent them with you. So what he's teaching me is, yes, when you create this thing that I give you the power and the access to create, do not keep it to yourself. By all means, leave it available that anyone can also use it. Oh, glory. They too can use it for their own produce and harvest. What you produce, what your efforts produce is for you. What their efforts produce is for them. But I don't know if you're like me, because I've made the mistake where I go in and I'm doing and saying, okay, this portion is yours, this portion is yours, this portion is yours. From what I've done. And then I sit back and I'm upset because I'm like, but you didn't help me. You didn't do this and you didn't do that. God didn't send them to do that. And God did not tell you to give them your harvest. So who are you supposed to be mad at? You can't be mad at them. They didn't steal it from you. Oh God, I love you so much. And my naivety, my folly, because sometimes we're all we're doing is trying to do our best. And sometimes in doing that best, we forget that we are a part of the benefactor or the beneficiaries. We are also a part of the purpose. Serving self is also a part of the purpose. That's why he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. He didn't say love your neighbors and stop there. By saying as you love yourself, he is saying you're supposed to love yourself first. You love you, you serve you, but you do not exceed that. You do not exceed self-service over service to others. So you're supposed to love them too. It's when your cup runs over, it's the over that everyone's gets. So by all means, build what God sent us to build. It's like Noah built the ark. And yes, he invited everyone to come on the ark. But whatever he gained from his work was his. And if you want to earn from what I do, by all means, what I'm not supposed to do is close the door on you. I'm supposed to give you access to that opportunity. But I am not here to generate from that opportunity for you. That's your job. That's your gig. But I think what has happened is, because it has happened to me, where I have people who don't do the work, but then when the results happen, they're mad. What are you mad at? What are you mad about? How many hours did you put in? How much money did you put in? How much investment did you put in? How much time did you put in? So like I say, I speak my story because my story is God's divine appointment for me to use, to teach, to share, to empower, to inspire. And so I don't say this to hurt anyone because no one is guilty. We're all being used by God. But I've had a partnership where for the longest time, I've been sitting asking myself, what is the other putting in? Why do I feel like I'm carrying this load by myself? And more, I think it was like a couple of days ago, I removed myself from a network completely because here I was in this network I'm trying to forge, right? Because I'm thinking, man, I have this amazing product, this thing right here that I'm running, and it's doing wonders for me. I'm getting rewards. I'm seeing where it works. And if I alone am doing this, imagine if we did it together. And for the longest time, I keep sitting thinking, but there are more than one person's here. So why is it I'm the only one that cleans up this thing? I'm the only one that promotes this thing. I'm the only one that builds up this thing so that we all can benefit. See, I wasn't honoring my grind. I wasn't honoring me. God didn't tell me that. Salvation itself. Why isn't salvation just free without participation? Because anything you have to participate, you have to uptake it. So even if we are to believe what the Bible says about salvation, why didn't God just say, okay, you're all saved, now go to heaven or wherever? Why didn't he just say that? No, he makes it available to you. Now it's our responsibility to uptake it and use it to our benefit. So as I sat here earlier today and I was feeling how I was feeling, and I was just talking to God, like, God, I'm not going to struggle through this. I'm just going to sit through this. I'm going to be still in this because I don't want to miss the blessing, the lesson of this. So I'm going to sit in it, the discomfort of it. And that's what he told me. He said, listen, yes, one can put 1,000 to flight and two can put 10,000 to flight. But it's not the mere fact that the number has increased that caused the success or the multiplication of the success. It's not just because the one became two, why 10,000 was put to flight. No, 10,000 was put to flight because the one effort was multiplied by a second effort. See, it's not just coming together that multiplies something. It's coming together and doing it together that multiplies it. Oh, and as he said it to me, I'm sitting there like, answer to my question. I mean, I've just been going back and forth with it in my head, back and forth. And I kept saying to God, so God, if I am to follow how I see other people interacting with this thing that you asked me to create, that I have created and made it available, right? I would become selfish because I was getting into this mindset of, you know what, maybe I should just do this me alone and forget everybody else. But then God is like, no, that's not what I told you to do. That's not what I told you to do. And he just took his time to just teach me. When you build this thing, when let's look at earth. God built earth. Oh, glory. God could have built the earth and build it with each of us having a house, a home, whatever it is that we work for. He could have just built, and every person that's born, he could have them born on a spot of land that belongs to them. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He built the earth and he made it. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I am fantastic, thank you. Your name is? I'm Coach Raquel.
My name is Samapira.
Samapira. Did I say
Yeah.
correctly? Okay, pleased to meet you. Welcome to my podcast. You want to share something with the audience?
I just wanna come. I just want to come and join you.
Okay, that's
Your
good.
class.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, you just
So
want to be with me? Okay, go.
yeah, I just be with you.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's called support. Thank you. So I was just talking about, some lessons that God taught me recently because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur 9 times over. And more recently, I had the struggle of I want to work with others. I want to collaborate. I have this phrase that I live by: consolidate, collaborate, monetize. How do we build together? But I was going about it all wrong. I was going about it by numbers, right? By thinking, okay, if you and I join and this one joins and we increase in numbers, then we can produce. But then God is teaching me that, oh no, that's just the start. Coming together is just point A. To get to point B, now each one needs to have a responsibility. Each one needs to have a gift that they also bring to the table. It's not just I often hear persons refer to one can put 1,000 to flight, but two can put 10,000. But it's not just the two that's putting it's not just the two coming together that's put 10,000 to flight. It's the two committing and working and grinding and honoring and valuing and doing the work that put the 10,000 to flight, right? And I think oftentimes as entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs who want to be supportive, and you're thinking, oh man, I have this great idea, and if I would partner and collaborate with someone else, we could both make it so much bigger. But then you partner with someone who sits on their laurels and they do nothing, and you're the only one there doing the work. And when there's time for an outcome, or when money is made, and everyone is outstretching their hands like, okay, so where's my portion? Where's my 50% or my 10%? But you see, you are not due a 50% of any partnership, or any percentage of any partnership, without having done the work, done the investment, right? Because otherwise, all you're doing is hanging on to someone's coattail while they're carrying you and the job. And after carrying both you and the job, you're expecting them to also reward you. But nobody rewards, God rewards, right? You may earn money from a job completed, from a task done, but the reward of that, the value that comes from that is from God. It's not from an individual. And even in working with people, if you notice, people People don't just pay you money to pay you money. It's always assigned to a value. It's always assigned to something that they received that fulfilled them or made them happy or had impact in some way. So what I'm learning anyway, and what I'm seeking to share with those of you who may be making the same mistake I was making, and feeling dissatisfied because you know something is missing, and you may not be able to say, okay, this is what's missing. Because for me, I'm in partnerships where I'm like, something doesn't feel right. This is a wonderful human being, and they're present, but something doesn't feel right. Being present is not enough. Being present is not enough. Being present is giving yourself the opportunity to participate. But after being present, you have to actually participate. What do you bring to the table? Because otherwise, it's not being multiplied. And that's what I've been suffering from in my own business, because as I sit and I look, all I'm seeing is my outcomes. I'm not seeing my outcomes multiplied. I'm not seeing it becoming bigger than it should, right? Because what? Even though we have multiple people, nobody else is investing. Everyone is hoping that if they just show up and do enough, then what I'm doing will multiply. And then everyone can say, okay, so I can get a benefit from that. It doesn't work that way though. So today I just want to say, honor your grind. I've had to learn to honor my grind, because the people who show up for you and do nothing, they're doing something elsewhere. They are committed elsewhere. Yes. And if anyone thinks what I'm saying isn't true, check this, right? Pay attention to someone who goes to work to earn a living to pay their bills. How do they relate to that workspace that they believe pays their bills? They do overtime, even when they don't like the job. They show up every day based on their agreements. Yes, they sign contracts, and not only do they sign contracts, they show up every day. They complete tasks every day. They even do more than they're paid to do. They demonstrate the value of it by investing themselves, because they don't want to lose that opportunity, because in their minds they're seeing, okay, this is going to pay me. And oftentimes what happens is, in entrepreneurial pursuits, people don't understand the value of being an entrepreneur because it doesn't look like cash dollar, right? But there's something that's more powerful than cash dollar, and it's called ownership. You don't get to own just because you show up. You have to invest, just as you have to for you to own a home, you have to buy it, right? You have to spend money to buy it. And after you spend the money to buy the house, you have to clean it. You have to do caretaking. You have to you have to mow the lawn. You have to have your gardener come to keep. You have to do the upkeep. It's no different with business. But for some reason, persons think that just owning this idea, this concept, is not as valuable as owning money, but it's the same thing. It's an idea. It was someone's idea to create money. Money is an idea. It's a concept. It's a tool. For example, I have this podcast. My podcast is a tool. See, someone was able to join me on the podcast for whatever reason. For whatever it is that he's getting from it, he must have sensed some kind of value for him to say, oh, I want to be a part of this, you know? So it's the same thing with entrepreneurship, that thing called ownership, right? And that ownership translates in stocks and shares that you can sell if you actually do your work. So if you are in a company or you own something that's quote unquote not bringing value to you in the world, then you need to ask yourself, what am I doing or what am I not doing for me not to be getting the results I need or I'm seeking. Because you see, a lot of us just show up waiting for somebody else. That's why people feel it's better to go work for somebody, because I don't have to worry about generating the income. I don't have to worry about the hard work they have to do. I just show up and just do these top 10 things that I agree to, that in my mind is manageable. I just do these things and I get this money and I leave. But it's no different. And this is why, especially when persons say it's not good to be a boss, it's better to be a leader. Your boss is not your leader. I don't want my boss to be my leader. My boss is someone who contracts me for a particular task. You pay me to do something, I do it, I leave. We don't need to be in a relationship. A leader is someone I pay. If you're going to lead me, then I should be able to dictate where you go, what you do, how you do it. We have it mixed up. So we're going to work thinking my boss should be my leader. Why? What does that boss owe you? Are you investing in this person? Your boss provides you with an opportunity to generate, whether it is income or a result that you seek. A leader is someone who motivates you and takes you to a place you're seeking to go to. A leader helps you become who you want to become. And if you want that leader to act in your best interest, that's the person you invest in, right? But we just have it mixed up. We think that being a boss is a bad thing. No, that's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I don't believe my employer should be talking to me about my principles. Because my employer would only talk to me about principles that's favorable to them. And why wouldn't they? That's why I'm here, to serve them. So my boss, you pay me for something, like my customers, my clients, right? There's some clients that I have partnerships with where I say, okay, we can both agree to do this way or that way. And then there are others that's just transactional, right? So you're not supposed to be leading me anywhere. We're supposed to have a transaction and we both move on. Honor your grind. That's what I'm talking about. Honor your grind. Honor your work. Honor your process. Do not make other people robbers of your rewards. So just to repeat what I was talking about, it's just God helping me to understand that I was going about my business the wrong way. I was just getting up thinking I'm going to do this work, and then I get miserable because other people are not doing their work that I think they should show up to do, right? Because when my work produced, everyone has their hand out. But it's for me to say, no, this thing right here that we've built or we invest in or we created, here it is, it's been created. Now it's on each of us individually to leverage it, to use it, to produce whatever outcome we seek. Some people get into partnership just for the affiliation, just to be able to say, I'm a part of that. Some persons come just to be able to say, I co-own that, or I help to build and create this thing. But then there's some people who partner with you, have no intention of committing their time, their money, their mind, their ideas, nothing, right? Unless you say do something, they do nothing. But they will be the first person to say, where's my part of the income or the harvest? Where's mine? I'm supposed to get some harvest. No, you're not. What you work for is yours, and what I work for is mine. So yes, like I said, God created this earth, and he didn't create every child and say, this piece of land is yours. But he gave us equal access to earth, and we now do the work to whether it is we're going to inherit, whether we're born into a family that has done the work for us so we can inherit, or we have to do the work ourselves to purchase our own land, purchase our own home, purchase our clothes and food and all of that, working the land to make sure we can eat. Yes, you have the mango trees out there, But God did not harvest the mangoes and bring it to us. No, but he has done the work. He's created it and made it available. So what I'm realizing is God is saying to me and us entrepreneurs, by all means, create what I've asked you to create. Invent this thing, whatever it is that I've given you the power to invent. But after inventing this, you need to use it to generate income or rewards for your own needs. And anyone else who would like to benefit from that thing, they too have to come and put in the work to also generate. You're not supposed to give people what you generated for yourself. But this is it, right? We are in a society that says the 1% is so cruel and the 1% have so much and they don't give it. And the 1%, I've never necessarily had that opinion, but I've always sat down because I know that God is the one that rewards. So I've never sat thinking the wealthy is ungodly at all, because it wouldn't make sense to me. It cannot make sense to me. If God is the one who owns all the hills, the lands, and everything, then how is it that those people who have abundance is not of God? Make it make sense for me, because it doesn't make sense to me. But this is it, right? There are some common things with people who have abundance. There's this thing called accountability, responsibility. We would like to sit and think they don't work. But if we're really honest with ourselves, we know that's not true. I've had some degree of abundance, and let me tell you something about abundance. It comes with all kinds and sorts of responsibilities. The more you have, the more responsibilities you have, right? The more you have, the more bills you have. I've come to understand and appreciate and value and desire the simple life, okay? And if I had it my way, I would be living in some forest area in a little hut that has all the basic amenities, and that's where I would live. I don't do it because of security, and I'm in a world now that I feel that I need to be in a certain place to feel safe. But I'm saying, if I had it my way, I would want life to be the simplest, because those are the most fulfilling. That is the most fulfilling life to live. The simple life. My dad did it. And for a long time, as a young girl growing up, I didn't understand. He only ate what he planted. I didn't get it. But he was healthy because he ate what he planted. He knew what he was putting in his body. He didn't have to worry about what other people did when they sold him their goods. Thank you so much, OJ28. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that. He didn't. So I'm saying we have to get to a place. The reason a lot of us don't have is because we show up, but we're not willing to put in the work. We are sitting waiting for others to do the work so that we can reap. That doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. And this is what happens when you uptake things you didn't work for. It doesn't work for you. Believe me, when you take things that don't belong to you, it doesn't serve you. That's why there are two things I don't do. I don't do struggle love, and I don't do struggle money. And for those of you, if you've heard me before or you've been to my websites or whatever, you'd see that there. I do not do struggle love or struggle money. If I'm working, even this week, I said to a client of mine, I said, she's a client and a partner. And I said, whatever it is that we do together or you ever do on my behalf, if I come to you and I ask you for something and you have a negative reaction, whether you tell me or not, doesn't matter. But there's a negative feel, you feel resistance, don't do it. This is what happens, right? When you struggle to earn something, it doesn't bless you. You know, I don't know if you've ever had the case where you work for something, you get paid, and you don't know where the money went. Sit back and ask yourself, how did I earn this money? Was I happy? Did this person pay me out of joy, pure joy? Or did they struggle to pay me? Did I struggle to deliver the work for this, to earn this? A lot of persons earn and blow the money and don't know where it went. You know why? Energy. The struggle around it. You know the kind of money I like to earn? I like to earn from projects where they want to get rid of the money. They can't wait. They're running me down to pay me. You see, when they're running after you to pay you, they're not saying, you didn't cross this T, you didn't dot this I, they're not busy picking you and the assignment apart because they're happy to pay this money and they're happy to pay to you. I'm saying honor your grind. You owe it to yourself not to just drag yourself into work. If the work you're doing, you have to struggle to do it, quit. I did that. I had a really, really good job. And I quit that job to become an entrepreneur. Because I was sinking in depression and I had one of the best jobs someone could want. I had a great job, great position, but I wasn't happy. I was struggling. Every time I went into my office, I felt like the office was getting darker and darker. And I just decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to do what makes me happy. And like I said at the top of this broadcast, I created a company that I remember 1 year all I ate was mangoes, and I think it's called star fruit. Yeah, I would freeze the mango. I had the mangoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner while I was still working, and I was saving my money doing research for this company I was starting up. 1 year later, the company became profitable and it was taken from me, stolen from me. But like I also said at the beginning of this broadcast, I don't have any regrets because God used that as the foundation for where I now stand in my purpose. That probably was one of the best things that happened to me because I was so naive. I was struggling. It was such a I was killing myself, literally. I'm going to share this. Be prepared. It's ghastly, but I'm going to share it because I want. If there's any entrepreneur listening here right now, I need you to understand. You need to check yourself how you're making people robbers of your gift and of your rewards and of the divine purpose God gave you. I remember one day I was sitting in the office while I had that company with my assistant next to me. And I had forged a new partnership and I had a new partner on who I gave 50% of my company, even when the company registration office lady was like, no, don't do that. Why would you do that? Because you spent a year building this company. Why would you just give someone 50%? And I was like, I want to be fair, and he was going to buy in. He was going to pay me for it. He hadn't yet. And so that's what I did. Little did I know that when he came into my company was on the up and up, all our books and everything, intact, all our filings, government filings, everything was well. But he didn't have that. His business, he was going to be charged millions because his company was not in good standing, right, with the government. So what did I do? I used my business to help him save his business. Now, the very day that I think he was supposed to pay 1.2 million or something like that in taxes. But when I used my company, it came down to, I think it's like either 220,000 or just 250, somewhere in the 200 bracket. And the day I sat on the phone, because it's very difficult sometimes to get through to the government bodies that handle this. So when I got through to them, I'm like, no, we're not leaving. So my assistant and I were sitting there and we're like, we're staying on this phone. We don't care what happened. We have someone now who's assisting us. We're not disconnecting this line. So I was hungry. I was tired, hours on the phone. And I'm happy because I'm about to help this guy save what? I think it's over a little less than $1 million. I was going to help him save. And again, like I said at the top of this podcast, I am passionate, and it's in my description. I am someone who's passionate about helping other people achieve their targets, right? By divine, I'm a coach. So there I was wanting to help. And there are multiple things happening that I refused to pay attention to because in my mind, they were distractions. I got phone calls I didn't take. I remember the lady who cooked, because we had someone who cooked for the staff and everything. She came calling me saying, it's time for you to eat. No, I didn't respond because I'm not letting this person off the phone. I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. And if you're grossed out by blood, mute the thing. I sat there and I don't know what happened. I don't remember if it was time for my menstrual cycle. I don't know what happened. But if you've ever had a hose attached to a pipe and then you cover the end of the hose, right? So the water's running, but it can't escape the hose because you're covering it. And then you let it go and it just shoots out. That was what happened with me from my private. I was sitting there and the blood just gushed out of me. Now, any logical person would be thinking, I stopped, right? I didn't stop. I remember they came in, my assistant was a guy, by the way. He sat there, he's like, oh my God, we have to stop now. You've been going. I remember I started working that morning about from 3 a.m. and it was now about 6 something in the evening. And I never got up from that desk, right? And that was the last sign God gave me that you should stop. I didn't stop. But you see, this was a defining moment. After that, I sat there while they were cleaning around me and everything. Lady came back on the phone. She said, okay, we're going to grant you the I don't remember what she called it, but it wasn't a discount, but it's a discount that he got, but it wasn't a discount that they called it. They were going to waive some of the fees. So all he had to pay was $200 and something thousand instead of $1.2 million. The moment she said yes and everything was good, that was when I really lost my company. Because what I didn't know that God was trying to save me from was this. See, he had plans and I didn't even know. I had persons from different countries. I remember persons from Australia was contacting us because our business was international. And I remember one lady, and I wish I could reconnect with her. Her name was Rebecca. And she attended a university in Australia. And she called me and she said, I think someone is trying to steal your company. And I said to her, thank you for the information, but it is well. This is my partner. I'm in a partnership. I'm going to respect this person. I'm going to, all of those things, right? But who said I couldn't respect him but honor me? Who said I couldn't respect him, respect the partnership, but honor me? I didn't even give ear to it. Because in my mind, I'm honoring the partnership. But God never said to honor the partnership over myself. Some of us are in relationships that we're honoring the agreements over ourselves. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to honor the agreements, of course, but not more than ourselves. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself, not more, right? And for sure, after his company was no longer an issue in any problems with the government, he took his company and he also took mine with it. It's not funny, but I have to laugh because if I don't laugh, that moment, that God gave me so many signals. He even put my body through a process where I lost blood and I still didn't stop. I am so loyal. But when it gets damaging to self, it's not loyalty anymore. So I'm sorry if if it grossed you out or whatever, but I needed to share the experience because what is it that's bleeding you? but you're still going, thinking this is life. Well, I've got news for you. I have never earned more money struggling than I have not struggling. It's amazing how I can just, as long as I get up and I'm living obedience to God, I simply say, Lord, may I have, and it is done. I used to think I had faith. I'm 41 years old. And for 40 years, I thought I had faith. I didn't have faith until 2022. Not because of the pandemic or anything. No. Not that at all. I stopped. I figured out who I was. I started living in obedience. It was really the obedience that changed things. I started being obedient to God. The moment I started being obedient to Him, faith happened naturally thereafter. See, all my life I thought I needed to have faith. But faith is not something from what I've learned, that I get up and pursue. No, it's not something I get up and tell myself to do. I don't get up and tell myself to breathe. I don't get up and say, inhale, exhale. No, faith should be the same way. It should happen organically. It should just be. And for faith to be, we have to be in obedience. Let me tell you what you cannot have faith while doing. You will never be able to have faith if you know that you're disobeying God. And that's simple to understand. We've all had parents, right? If you grew up with your parents or an elder or anyone who you had to obey in order to be in good standing with them, you know that when you disobey them, you don't have any confidence or any good standing. They don't have to flog you. They don't even have to know that you did something wrong. You are already with the knowledge that I disobeyed my mother. Oh, she's not going to be happy with me. So guess what happened? You start staying away from her. Right? You start, even when the parent doesn't know that you've disobeyed yet, they don't know yet. But you are already living the consequences because of your self-knowledge, your self-awareness of what you've done. So faith is the same way. Because if your parents, if you have parents who always take care of you, always give you your allowance and everything, right? The only time you start questioning if they're going to give you those allowances is if you know you've done something that they told you that if you did this, then I'm going to take away this. That's the only time you don't have faith in it. I have sat and I've watched and I said, God, there's no way I can love someone more than you can love them. There's no way a movie can end on such high note, but my life won't end on a high note. The guy gets the girl in the movie, but in real life, I don't get what I asked God for? Oh, come on. But in order for me to be able to reap the rewards that God has for me, I have to obey Him. Easiest rewards I've ever gotten. Oh my goodness. Easiest. I don't struggle for anything anymore. There's no need. And so whatever causes me to struggle, I know I have to release. And this is a beautiful thing. If you're in a job that you don't like and you're struggling and you're stressing, and you get up and you say, I'm leaving, and they really want you, you'll be amazed to know how it turns in your favor. I have. I left my job and I'm now a consultant for them. A lot of the times we don't, and I'm just going to wind down now. A lot of the times we don't have what we want because we haven't asked. We haven't made the ask for it. And after, in those cases where we have asked, right, and we get access, what do we do with that access? Do we get the access and say, okay, someone is going to bring this to me now? Or do we get the access to it and use it by doing our work? By doing the work. We have to show up and do the work. And the work doesn't have to look the same for everyone. There are two important things I think that any successful outcomes require: investment of either time or money, and alignment. Investment and alignment. A lot of us are correctly aligned, but are not investing. And a lot of us are investing where we are not correctly or divinely aligned. And that's why we cannot connect with the rewards God has for us. It's not a matter of God sending us the rewards. We already have everything we need. We have it. We have access to it. But we have to invest either time or money, mind, right? And we have to align effectively, divinely, right? So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. OJ28, Marian Stout, Pink Squirrel, BDX, who joined me on the live. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, OJ29. And did I miss anyone? Philly, is that Philthy or Filthy? Well, Breakfast, P Breakfast. Thank you so much. And GSIU, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. It is my hope that as I did this so freely, so easily, without struggle, without stress, it was such a beautiful process. It is my hope that it blessed you. It is my hope that it inspired, empowered, it helped you. You don't have to necessarily believe what I've said, but what I hope is that it disrupts your own thoughts. It creates a shift in how you think, that it causes you to question, so that once you start questioning, then you can start searching for the answers within you. Really appreciate what you shared. Thank you so much, OJ28. Thank you. And I appreciate you saying that out loud for me to hear it. It helped you for sure. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Awesome. Honor your grind. Honor your grind. Honor your work. Honor your investment. And remember, don't make other people robbers of your rewards. What you do, what your work produce is for you. The people who are aligned with your life, you give them access to what you have access to. It is their responsibility to use that access to reap their own rewards. May God bless you. And I just want to share this poem. I'm going to share the male version and the female version, and I hope it continues to bless you. And then I'm just going to say thank you so much. This was Finding Happy. I'm Coach Raquel. If you want to learn more about what I do by choice, you can go to mycoachministry.com. That's for my coaching. What I do with coaching, I have resources and so on there that you can access freely. And I also have another resource, walkingindivine.purpose.com, that you can also go there and you can access whatever resources there and use it, leverage it for your benefit. You are so loved. You are so valued. You are so powerful. You are so powerful. Okay, so for my podcast, I come on every Thursday. I try to come on at 10 o'clock in the mornings, but I won't say that. I'll just say on Thursdays because I don't want to not come on at 10 o'clock. But when do you come online here on podcasts? It's on Thursdays, unless I feel led to otherwise, then I do that. You can find, so, if you go to mycoachministry.com, you'll see my podcast there and other stuff I do, books, whatever else that you can access to use and leverage for you. I am very passionate about supporting people and people winning, people connecting with, because God has already blessed us. That thing that you're dreaming of, it's already here. It's just to find the pathway to it. Yeah. So please listen to this and just know that you are so loved. You are so loved and have the best rest of day.
I see me through God's eyes. Affirmation. I am a masterpiece. I am whole. I am capable. I am smart. I am purpose-driven. I am loving. I am wealthy. I am kind. I am honest. I am chosen by God for an appointed time and purpose. I am a child of the universe. I have the mind of God. I am worthy. I am valued. I am protected. I am me, not greater or lesser than any. I am called to serve. I am divine. I am someone who matters. I am a force, a positive force. I am God-made and God-designed.
I see me through God's eyes. Affirmation. I am a masterpiece. I am whole. I am capable. I am smart. I am purpose-driven. I am loving. I am wealthy. I am kind. I am honest. I am chosen by God for an appointed time and purpose. I am a child of the universe. I have the mind of God. I am worthy. I am valued. I am protected. I am me, not greater or lesser than any. I am called to serve. I am divine. I am someone who matters. I am a force, a positive force. I am God-made and God-designed.
I am purpose-driven. It's not personal. It's purpose. When you see me, there's deeper than what meets the eyes. There is a soul, a spirit, a divine purpose. I am being. Join me Thursdays at 10 a.m. Finding Happy on UMERADIO. Thursdays at 10 a.m.
Yahweh, my best friend, you are my shepherd. Where I've been faithless, you've been faithful still. Whether it's raining or the sun is shining, you're the light of the world, light of my world. You're the light of the world, light of my world. I'm already blessed, blessed in the morning, blessed in the evening. In you I rest, 'cause I'm already blessed. All of my future is covered in favor. You are the answer. I'm already blessed. I'm already blessed. Don't need to fight for all your affection. Your love pursues me, and you choose me still. If ever I doubt it, that doesn't change it. It's the miracle you made for against me will prosper. I'm living in the blessing of the Lord. Adopted, beloved, forgiven and honored. I'm living